here's the thing. Even if you want me to pay once, I'm fine with that.
For the whole tournament.
Once for the whole tournament. I'm not going to pay for 4 or 5 different groups that are going in there.
Yeah, I think because didn't they last time they made you pay for each.
Yeah.
So you had to pay for 36 2 times.
Yeah.
You pay for that.
And so I just said, well, why I'm just going to fucking play
golf and not even play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because you were tagging along.
Yeah.
And they forced you to pay.
Yeah.
Well, and that's I explained that in the message, and I said, like, I'm not going to be playing. You can watch me. I'm not going to take a club. There's no way I can play if I don't have a club in my fucking hand or a ball in my hand. Like, literally, you can watch me. I'm there to keep score. It's going to be me and my phone. That's it.
And for the tournament, it adds an extra ball in the course, even though it helped me.
Yeah.
What?
If you end up playing.
If you end up playing, it's an extra ball in the course.
Yeah.
In the way as a
obstacle.
Yeah.
Bumping Dan ahead of me, saving him strokes.
Yeah. I thought about it before we got 20. I was like, I might have to step in again and play, but then we got 21 and I was like, okay, cool.
So where's scene 75?
So the way that I read the directions,
I know there's one in Toledo.
I guess it's not far from Buzzard Cove.
Really?
Apparently. Yeah. So like you get off that same exit, but you go, instead of going straight, like you're going through the valley and the woods and all that shit, you make a right there, like right after the Richfield. Right. You know, like Whitey's is that way, but you go one more down and you go right that way.
I don't know why I thought it was like Cleveland area or something.
No, I guess it's really close to Hinckley.
I was say the one that I knew of was Toledo.
It ain't that fucking far. I can tell you that.
I'm like, are we going to Toledo? What?
We ain't doing that. No, but I got to figure it out. Like if they're going to let me, because I don't want to play. I really don't.
If they're not gonna be willing to work with you, fuck it. We go somewhere else.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, do we do both rounds at scene 75 and say the hell with it?
I'll just remove my tournament from here. Like I bring a lot of games through here.
Right. I'm
not gonna pay as just the ref. I guess we'll just take you off of our roster.
21 times 2 games. That's 42 games that you've just bought there. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, that place isn't cheap.
Yeah.
And we go in the regular season. It's not just this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think it would be a bad decision on their part. But yeah,
I agree. If they're that busy, they can afford to not have the business. Then I guess fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. You got notes?
Yeah, I
got notes.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Yep. I think I got notes.
I sent in the groupie group.
I got them.
Cool.
Good evening, everyone.
What's going on, y'all? You're tuning in to the highest rated, most listened to podcast to ever grace the airwaves, and you're a better person for listening to us. All right, maybe not, but you're really going to enjoy it anyways. This is Made to Motivate podcast, and we'll be talking social media hot topics, pop culture news, the greatest in movies and music, and all things sports. Make sure you're following us on social media at Made to Motivate podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can watch the show on our YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and with that being said, let's get this show started.
Now,
brown cow.
Should have brought my beers. Damn.
There's a whole fridge full of beers over here, sir. Help yourself.
At the Market Garden seasonal.
We got Great Lakes in there and
Dortmunder.
You're
welcome to have one.
Enjoy. What's going on, y'all? This is Made to Motivate podcast, season 5, episode 6. This is your host, Ryan Weiss. Things are still different. They're changed. We're not back to the normal cast and crew. Jesse is still out on paternity leave. He's got it pretty rough over there in the dadlyhood.
Paternity.
Sleepless.
I don't know. One of those things where you don't work or do anything with yourself. Is it paternity?
Yeah.
Oh, so it was one and the same.
Paternity suit.
Well, anyhow, I do have 2 lovely gentlemen here with me. One, Christopher, the Film Freak Kessinger.
How about them Cowboys?
How about it, buddy? And them Steelers. Ooh. And the Browns is questionable.
We'll talk about it.
I got Dan, the shoe guy, Sandmann.
What's up, fellas? Glad to be back.
Yes, sir. Good to have you guys here. We were off. We were out last week. I was on vacation. So we had a week off, but we are back. We got a full list of fun and exciting things to talk about tonight. So thanks for tuning in.
Our mini golf champion, Dan Sandmann.
Yeah.
I should get that title.
He's
for
had
now,
some
at least.
questionable offseason play.
Two-
You better bring it for Winter Warfare.
Dude,
The only man to win 2 tournaments in the same year, and he might make it 3 in 11 months.
2 tournaments in the same year and the Packy Chip Challenge.
Yeah, he was the winner.
I gotta get a belt made for that one.
Absolutely.
3 championships in one year.
Sinuses of steel, that guy.
Bro.
Sorry, my head is not blowing up
Yeah, that's okay.
with confidence though. So
That's good. That's a good thing.
stay humble.
What is new and exciting? I mean, when we talked last, Chris had just gotten back from vacation.
Yep.
Anything new and exciting since then, sir?
I was in a wedding this past weekend, my buddy Matt's wedding. He's been on the show before.
Yeah.
So he was getting married to a woman he's been dating for, I think, 3 or 4 years now. Asked me to be one of the groomsmen. Initially I was excited for it, but when the day draws closer, you remember all your responsibilities and you go, oh fuck, it's coming up. So we got it done though. We nailed everything down, had an awesome dinner Thursday night with the groomsmen and the bridesmaids at Twisted Tomato downtown Akron.
Yeah.
Really fucking
It
good.
looks
That
dope.
looked good.
Dude,
yeah.
their menu is amazing.
So there was apparently one in
Never
the
even heard of it.
falls, and then they just opened a second location in Akron.
There's
right?
4 locations
Oh.
because there's one in the falls and there's 2 that are like further. I can't remember where they're at, but they're further, I think, out west.
Okay. Dope.
So yeah, they opened that one and they've got like, what was it, 32 brews on the wall.
Yep.
They've got a menu that is second to none in terms of creativity.
Very cool.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, we got to get out there. I saw that. It's like the brew wall place that's out in like Fairlawn. It seems
Yeah,
like.
exactly that.
But yeah, it looks great. Where it's by the baseball stadium.
It's across from Canal Park, so like not further down by where that Barley House is, not there,
okay.
but like
other direction.
the other way, like you're going toward Insomnia Cookies.
Okay,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. It looks good. I've been watching a couple of their Facebook videos. They're doing like raffles and like giveaways and stuff. Was just curious to see what they had going on. So
Yeah, they're good. I recommend it.
cool. So
What's
wedding.
what's the main menu items?
Well, I
Like,
mean,
what are they known for?
mostly Italian, so like pizza's their thing, and they have 100 different pizzas you can have. They have a spaghetti pizza that's there. I had a spaghetti sandwich, which was bomb, out of this world good. Even better the next day.
Nice.
So yeah, like pizza's their thing. Anything Italian,
Okay.
mostly. Yeah.
Nice. They do JoJo's wings,
Yep.
anything like that.
They have JoJo's. They do have wings. I tried one of my buddies, and it was amazing.
Man, yeah, we
Yeah.
got to get down there.
Yep.
Daniel, what is
Yes,
new and
sir.
exciting?
Oh.
Last time you were here was Packy Challenge. So
Yeah.
it's,
God, that was-
it's been a month or
Yeah,
so.
my guts are better finally.
Yeah.
That was the last time, wasn't it?
Right? Yeah.
Jesus.
When did we do that? It's been at least a month.
That was 2 months ago, I think.
Yeah. What's
Yeah, there's a lot.
Dan has a lot
Holy
of
mackerel.
Dan's a whole new man since the last time you guys have seen and or talked to him.
Yeah, I don't know if my smiles are bigger, if my eyes are brighter, but after 18 years at the job I was at, I resigned.
Yes,
Just got to be too much for me. Happiness wasn't there, so had to make the decision to separate myself from there and pursue
Congratulations.
something else.
I
So
know the feeling.
it was very like I had a lot of mixed emotions about it. Last 18 years, I've known one company, I've known one business. So to wake up Monday morning and not have to do the payroll, the scheduling, the dealing with call-offs,
Yeah.
it felt amazing.
Yeah, dude.
And it's something, you know, I think it takes a lot of courage to understand your worth too, you know, and to
Right.
leave something that's comfortable and safe.
Yeah.
I
That's a good
won't
point.
I won't say a bad thing about that company.
Mhm.
I've got 18 years of experience out of it and knowledge and understanding of people and business. So took a lot out of it.
Mhm.
Just needed to make a change.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So that's exciting.
recovered about a week and a half ago from COVID. That was awful.
Wow. Yeah.
Went on a golf trip and came back sick. So
So that's at least 2 of our members that have been knocked out that we know of by
Yeah.
it. You know, Jesse had it obviously
Yeah.
last year.
Jesse had it. Jesse had it last year, beginning-ish, early last year, and
Mhm.
Dan now confirmed. I was potential, but not confirmed. So I don't know if I actually ever had it. And you've been.
I don't believe I've
I think
had
me
it.
and you are the only ones that have made it out clean at this point
Yeah.
so far. But
just
hey,
caught,
it's still out there.
Sure.
it
You never
is.
know.
It's still a thing.
Sure, it
And,
ain't going anywhere.
it'll knock you down. So
Yeah, you seemed
even-
miserable.
It was awful. Like headaches. That was probably the worst part.
I was just about to ask you what's the worst part.
Oh God, it was just like, I felt like a vice was just cranking my skull
Mm.
24/7.
Yeah.
I did not go, like, it had to have been 10 or 11 straight days with a headache.
I hate a bad headache, man. Migraines are the worst.
Every time you cough, it
Just feel
it hurts you. I didn't have a real bad sore throat or anything.
Mhm.
It was I think it was just more the headache that got me. Lost appetite.
Oh,
I think I lost like 10 pounds while I was out, which
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to lose.
yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't eat anything, and but recovered. I feel better. Still got a slight cough. But they said that'll linger for sure.
Mm. I'm glad
Um,
you're all right, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
What else is different? It's just the
Mhm.
job was the big thing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Changed jobs, COVID. Not much outside of that. Just the normal little things.
The seasons
The
Season changed.
cold as balls.
drastically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Steelers won, beat the Browns. We'll talk about that later.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, buddy.
Ryan, what'd you do?
Me and Dan I was on vacation. I went to Destin, Florida. It was nice. It was a big change from the normal Disney Universal trip.
What a dump.
Yeah, it was a dump. I know, right? So we always do an Airbnb, and so we got this condo on Airbnb, and I pulled up like Zillow because I was like, this place. I'm curious what this place cost, you
Yeah.
know, based on where it was located and everything. I pulled up on Zillow. It's a $1.2 million condo.
Wow.
I was like, this is wild, man.
You better not spill shit.
Yeah,
man.
it was super nice. It was literally all windows. You know, one side of the entire condo was just all windows, complete patio, like outdoor patio. It was super legit. We were on like an island surrounded by water.
So the beach is right there.
Beach was on one side of us was the Gulf Coast. On the other side of us was like an inlet off the Gulf.
Mm.
Those
It,
are always beautiful.
it was amazing to wake up to go to sleep.
Good weather week round.
We had amazing weather. So
Mhm.
that's like it's the week that me and Dan usually do like Disney. Last week of October is like the perfect time in Florida. It's warm during the day, shorts, t-shirt, you're great. At night, you can put on like a nice shirt and pants and go out and be fine.
That's
You're
fine,
not,
yeah.
Like it's the weather's amazing. It rained briefly Sunday, but we had just got there and we weren't gonna do anything. Anyways, we went to like dinner, walked around, but like didn't affect anything. Clear as day the rest of the week.
Oh.
So that was dope. Very nice, just relaxing place. Recommend Destin if you want just a chill, laid back, go to the beach, just relax type place. I'd compare it to like a classy high-end Myrtle Beach. Like there's plenty to do if you want to do stuff,
Just too much.
but you can also just go to the beach and do nothing if you want to. Like
Yeah.
it was really nice.
The water
It's
on that
beautiful.
in the Gulf, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
They call
crystal clear.
They call it where we were at. It might, I don't know how far down it goes, but where we were at, they call it the Emerald Coast.
Oh.
The water is like see-through, but it's like a turquoise, like emerald color, you
Mhm.
know, it is amazing.
Oh.
We went to the ocean or the Gulf. I don't know if that's not an ocean, but we went to the Gulf and 30, 40 feet out is just clear. See the bottom, nice blue-green color,
I like that.
calm
'cause
water.
I like to see what I'm walking. I'm not a swimmer, so
Yeah.
I gotta see what I'm walking on, and that crystal clear water. I won't go in past my knees. I would say in
Mhm.
Myrtle Beach or anything down the east
You just can't
coast. I have a fear of deep water.
swim.
That's what I'll put it. Like if I can't touch bottom,
Yeah.
I get a little like shaky, nervous, and think I'm gonna sink to the bottom and die.
Yeah.
No experiences that have occurred in my lifetime that I could like stamp as to
Yeah.
Be the reason
be
why.
the reason why,
Yeah.
but I just can't. I'm not a big fan of deep water.
Yeah, all right.
But yeah, it was really nice. I saw lots of dolphins, which was really
Mm.
cool, like swimming right on the beach. We rented a boat one day and we rented a pontoon and just cruised
Oh
the
man.
whole like inlet and coast and everything. We went into this neighborhood. It's like a boat neighborhood. I mean, every house has like a boat garage and everything.
Kind of like what your dad
Bro,
has.
like my dad's, but like these were insane.
Mhm.
Like it was literally like you go in this inlet and then it's just like like alleyways of just houses on both sides, and that's like your street basically.
Mhm.
So we went down all these streets, $8 million house, $4.6 million house. I mean, these things, these boats that these people had parked outside were like mini cruise ships. It was insane.
Yachts and
I'm like, what do you do? Like,
Right. Where's all this money?
Where did these people work at? Me and my dad were really interested, so we pulled up the census website for Destin.
Mhm.
Only 14,000 people live there. The median household income is only 74,000. I'm like, who the fuck's living in these houses? then?
Wow.
Like, that's not that for your household income. That's not that much.
that reeks of vacation destination. Then it's probably
Absolutely.
just, you know, rich
Retirement.
people who
yeah.
have a house down there and they go, well, we go there during the winter months, you know, like we live in Wisconsin or something like
Absolutely.
that.
I mean, that like the condo we stayed in, you know, like
Yeah.
those are, she probably just rents it out. It's extra money. She goes there when she wants to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super dope. We went to, what else did we do? They had like a cool boardwalk area there. You walk around, there's all kinds of just different shops and, you know, seafood galore.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you're into that chill, relaxing vacation type thing,
I was say, how's the food
it was good.
options? Did you go to the corporate places, or did you find local?
We went to a
eateries?
little of everything. So we went to the one day we went to Margaritaville just because it was right there and we were just walking the boardwalk.
Jimmy.
And that was like the main thing right there. So we went into Margaritaville and ate. But then we went out to like local seafood places. We went mini golfing, obviously.
Yeah.
Mini golf course was super legit.
Yeah. I'd love to go down to like Florida or some of those like
Bro.
South Coast places where mini golf was basically founded and popularized.
Yep.
Yeah.
The one we went to was half it's like the one we go Blizzard. What's the one that's pirate and dinosaur?
Buzzard Cove.
Yeah, there's basically like a Buzzard Cove. One side was pirate themed, animatronics and stuff, and then the other side was a dinosaur theme.
Oh, no, fun and stuff.
Fun
I'm sorry.
stuff.
Fun and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like fun and stuff. It was really cool. So, yeah, good times. Me and Dan went to a shoe show.
Yeah,
Mm.
Saturday.
The weekend I got back last weekend. It was at Hartville flea market.
I don't think
Yeah.
I knew that.
It was all right.
Yeah.
I was like, it's local. It might be cool to meet, you know, and see some like local shoe enthusiasts and stuff. But
Yeah, you don't get out see a lot of those guys. Like,
Yeah.
you see them on Instagram, but
Mhm.
there's probably, what do you say, like 12 booths,
Yeah.
13 booths.
I'd say
maybe?
roughly 12 booths. But I mean, honestly, I thought that was a lot for local people. I didn't realize there was that many people like with decent shoe collections around
Yeah.
here. I mean,
They were just showing them off
no,
basically.
for
Like,
sale. It was
Oh,
like a
okay.
shoe, like
Right,
they were
buy.
trade, sell. I
wow.
mean, yeah, it was just
It was my first sneaker event that I've ever been to, like legit sneaker event that I've been to. So that was pretty cool.
Did you guys
Yeah.
get anything?
No, they didn't really have
Mm-mm.
anything that really jumped out at me. I took a box of shoes, like 9 or 10 pairs
yeah.
Mhm.
that I took with me just to maybe trade or barter or sell to somebody who might be interested. There weren't a lot that I saw there that I would trade towards,
Yeah.
but
Nothing
The
that I was like
prices
blown
were
away by. Like it was like stuff
Yeah.
that me and you would have on our own. Like it wasn't anything like
well, that
there
one
was nothing
dude,
that I saw that I was like, I want that, you know. Like there was the one guy that had
that
some
dude
cool
had
shit,
the
but
10 Virgil Abloh's the 10 collection. He had
Yeah.
all 10 of the first release ones,
big money.
probably
15,
25
20
to
grand. Yeah.
$25,000 worth of shoes, 10 pairs.
Unreal, bro.
Insane. Good for him for getting that, man. That
Yeah.
That's
that
cool.
cost him a ton.
It's got so big that it's cool they have those kind of trade shows though, you know, like you always see them for cars and you see them
Yeah.
for baseball cards and stuff like that. But you know, for shoes, that's interesting that it's come along that way.
There's a sneaker con is coming to Cleveland December.
Mhm.
And that's
Is that the same one we bought tickets to like 3 years ago?
yeah, 2 years
It
ago.
keeps getting rescheduled.
It was supposed to be last year, and then they just kept, because of COVID, they kept
Oh.
pushing it back. CSU or the Cleveland, like they wouldn't allow so many people in one area, so they kept pushing it back.
Rent's due now. Nobody gives a fuck.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So they rescheduled. I think it's going to be right around my birthday. So I want to
Nice.
definitely want to get up there,
Save
take
your
some
money.
shoes. They've got a trading pit up there and a ton of vendors. People will come from states away to sell. Where Hartville flea market was a lot of local people, this is going to be like
Big time.
Chicago people, New York
Big
people,
time.
Michigan.
Big time.
Big time.
Big time.
Big time.
So I'm looking forward to that show.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Cool beans. That's it as far as recap stuff. Nothing too new and exciting. So We're going to get into the actual show. We're going to kick it off with sports. That way, when Jesse listens to this, the very first thing he gets to hear about is the Browns sucking.
To deep left field. It is 45-40. Run, William, run. 20, 15. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the.
This is locker room talk.
Oh, Jesse, you're gonna get a big
Did
beat
they
down
have a
on this.
running back play? Just wondering.
I don't think they did anything worthwhile.
I'm happy because I played against Nick Chubb in fantasy football and he didn't do jack shit.
I just want to make it clear that ever since Jesse's been on his sabbatical, Steelers have won every week.
That's
The
true.
Browns have lost every week, and the Cowboys have won every week.
It's this jersey right here.
So I think we know why he left.
He's
I don't think
never
it's-
coming back,
there's-
as far as I'm concerned.
He better fucking come back. I'll be really upset if he doesn't come back. I know he jokes about it, but I'm hoping he does.
The Cowboys have to keep winning.
But yeah, so we had some victory Mondays for me, Chris, and Dan. Look, great things on our end. I really want to kind of talk about. I mean, I know I'm a Browns hater, but I really want to talk about the Browns and where they stand and where things are going with them. So, me and Chris have voiced since 2 years ago, early last year, early into last season, that we were not anti OBJ, but that he wasn't the right fit. You know, we think that he's got to go. There's no meshing there. And we were curious what was going to happen with the trade deadline coming today. Would they get rid of him? Which they didn't. But then today, there's this video gets released of some Baker and OBJ plays, and all the times throughout the last like 4 games that OBJ is wide open and doesn't get an opportunity, because Stefanski released something saying, I got to do better about making him available, because people were questioning whether they were going to get rid of him. And Stefanski kind of took ownership over it and saying, look, I've got to do better on my part. So someone put together this video.
You didn't hear who did it?
No.
It was
His
OBJ's dad.
Oh, did he make the video?
Yeah.
I know his dad commented, but I know his dad made it.
His dad made it and leaked it.
So I didn't realize that, but I was going to say is, what are your guys' thoughts? I mean, his dad came out and pretty much was like, you know, this is bullshit. Baker's trying to put this on OBJ, or the Browns are trying to put this on OBJ, that he's not meeting the expectations of him. I watched the video and I honestly kind of was like, they have a point. Like there was several opportunities where that man was completely open, unguarded, and the ball was thrown to someone with coverage.
The very first one of that video is him getting a ball that's like that I could catch right to him, and he bobbled it out.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about it? I mean, I don't want to say my opinion changed, but the video is kind of enlightening that there's more to it than what we see. I really truly think that there's something between Baker and OBJ that it just doesn't work. Like there's something behind the scenes. They don't like each other. There's some kind of tension there. It's the caliber of player OBJ is supposed to be, that there's like a pressure there. Something's up.
I'll say that is OBJ Baker's first look most of the time.
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't think so.
If so, he's not coming back to him.
Mm-hmm.
He sees that he's covered. He's getting checked at the line.
Yeah.
He's like, this ain't gonna work, and go somewhere else. But those passes
But what about those? I mean, did you watch the video?
I didn't watch the video.
So I mean, there's plays in this video where that man is wide open.
Well, I'm sure during the Steelers game he was wide open multiple times, because honestly, Steelers pass defense is not very good.
No.
Their secondary is garbage.
One he missed that he could have been gone for. There was no Steeler anywhere near him.
So, but I have seen like the highlights and the replays of him being wide open, and Baker's going to Landry, or he's checking down to his tight end. I mean, I've seen Hooper getting a lot of balls thrown to him, but I don't think it's a Baker OBJ thing. I don't think there's a rift there. I think they're not utilizing OBJ the way they need to be.
So you
because
think
a lot of teams come in and they're
a play calling.
I think
you think that ownership Stefanski's taking is true.
I think so, but I'm not a Browns fan. No. I'm not. Yeah. So, but just what I see, I think it's more like you got to gear some plays up around OBJ to utilize him. he's got to catch them.
So I'm going to piggyback off of half of what Dan said there.
Yeah.
So I don't think there is a problem between OBJ and Baker Mayfield. I don't think it's a personal problem anyway. I think there's a lack of chemistry between them.
Yeah.
There's some quarterback wide receiver dynamics to where they've worked 10 years together and they never get that chemistry down.
Yeah.
It happens, man. You know, like some guys, Jerry Rice and Joe Montana, they meet the first day and they're best friends for the rest of their life. But some guys, they just don't gel well together. A lot of it, I believe personally, and I know Jesse's going to probably disagree with this, I've never believed in Baker as a long ball quarterback. And I feel like his long ball is lacking in a lot of aspects.
What long ball plays has that man had? Other than that one, like Hail Mary?
That one big
That's
one. Yeah.
it, though.
Yeah.
I think he's afraid to throw long.
Yeah. And the thing with a Hail Mary is it's the most lucky pass in all of football.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not taking anything away from Baker.
No.
I still feel like he is a top, I've always argued top 10, but he's top 15 for sure.
Yeah.
Quarterback in the NFL right now, but he's more of his schemes lend themselves more to slants and throws like that. In my opinion, you should be throwing those kind. And if you can't get OBJ involved in those kind of slants, you know, with Donovan Peoples-Jones out there, he doesn't fit into the scheme. And that's why I've said since last year, I feel like OBJ on any other team is probably an all or Pro Bowler every year. On the Browns, he's just another receiver.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that plays to though coaching and play writing.
Yeah.
You know, they've got to write him into that stuff because if Baker can't throw long or doesn't feel comfortable long, and that's where they're putting OBJ at. Because I mean, most of those plays where he was open, I mean, it was a 15, 20-yard pass easily. You know, they weren't quick slant routes or anything. So if they want to utilize him that way, like Stefanski said, he's got to take ownership of putting him in place to be able to work it out. You know, the dude they've got immense talent. They just can't make it work for some reason. I mean, there was more to that game on Sunday than just you couldn't put that on Baker. There was call issues. There was defensive issues. You got Landry dropping balls. They got multiple turnovers. There was a lot going on. Look, I'm pumped the Steelers won.
Yeah.
But I had no hopes that the Steelers were going to win.
I didn't either. I thought the Browns would win. Yeah.
And to only put up 15 points, 15-10 is a low scoring game.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot going on.
Well,
there.
and now you raise the question, you know, a week after what's his name there, that Case Keenum came in and led them to victory. Was it too soon for Baker?
Right.
Did they guide him back too quickly and you know, maybe put too much pressure on that situation? Yeah. If Case Keenum's in that game, does he beat the Steelers? You know, that's a good question, and that's an answer we'll never truly know.
I would probably say, I think Case Keenum would.
I mean, I'm not,
because there's not a ton of tape on him.
Yeah.
And those are the hardest quarterbacks to prepare for.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking your guys' team, but I wasn't blown away by the Steelers' performance at all. I thought it was mediocre, you know, like, but they did enough to get it done. That's to me. So the man responsible for that win to me, and he got a lot of blame on one specific play during that game, was Mike Tomlin. So
the kicker
to me, yeah. So that was a bad play, and I'll get to that in a second. But like, to me, Tomlin's the kind of guy that if you give him those close games, he will find a way. He will get scrubs together and he will win that game. This is why I've always been an admirer of Mike Tomlin, because to me, we talked about it countless times. He won't allow himself to have a losing record. He could get, 3 stiffs and a gimp together, and man, they're at least an 8-8 team that year. I don't know how he does it, but he's one of those coaches that he inspires his guys. Now, going back to that play, that horrible play with the kicker, where Boswell got injured, that was uncalled for completely.
So when I saw them make that play, and for one, get the points in a game against the Browns,
why aren't you kicking a point?
Get the points. And then I saw him rolling out, and there should have been a flag, if you ask me, on that play.
For after, you're saying?
I think that was a late hit.
Well, especially because Dallas got 2 flags for that very same play in their game that night.
But the fact that it took Boswell forever to just throw the ball away,
man.
Like, you don't see anything, just get rid of it at that point. Don't take a hit. And he got clipped up under his chin, head hit the ground, concussion. We don't have a backup field goal kicker.
I mean, that play should have ruined
confidence.
Us.
No confidence in your fourth and long, you're going for it because you're not going to make the points. So
to me, and there was one field goal too where like they went for it on 4th, and I think it was 4th and 3 instead of kicking a field goal from the 15. you still have your punter.
Well, did you see they brought him in?
Yeah.
And then they put him back out.
Well, yeah.
Well, did you see his first punt or not punt, but his first kickoff?
No.
It was awful.
Kicked it to the 35-yard line,
Oh, Jesus.
out of bounds.
I'm looking at a 15. I'm like, I could make that kick. Like
they had pulled him in.
Yeah.
And I was like,
No,
oh, they're actually
yeah,
gonna give him
no.
the chance. And then he
Get back.
turned around and ran. And they were like, no. Ben was like, I got this.
Yeesh. No
Yeah,
confidence.
it was all bad.
They had no confidence in their kicking game. So
No, and we're
going
screwed.
for
I mean,
two every
hopefully
time,
he's back.
going for the end zone. I mean, I like the calls to go for a lot of those, but you need points to win.
Yeah.
So I have two questions for you guys being Steelers fans. The first one is watching that game, and you specifically said you thought the Browns were going to win the game.
Yeah.
When was the exact time where you thought, well, the Steelers now have the momentum? I feel like we can actually win this game.
It was that turnover in like the fourth.
Okay.
It was the fumble. There was that fumble at the end of the game. I was at this point we had it because we could run out the clock at that point, and we knew we had.
So very
if
late.
they would have had that drive.
Oh yeah,
it was last minute because
Mhm.
you got to think that what Dan said earlier is we were going for 2 points because we had no hope in a kicker.
Mhm.
Those are hard to make.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't been playing that great in the end zone or in the red zone as it is. So at that point, I've seen Baker come back and do a full drive in 30 seconds. They had every opportunity.
They had time.
And once that turnover happened, though, and we had enough time, we had all 4 downs in 40 seconds or whatever to run that clock down. We
Yeah.
were safe, but it could have went either way until the last 2 minutes of the fourth, honestly.
When the Browns went for it on 4th and like
Yeah,
8
I
or
think that's the
whatever it
play.
was, and they could have kicked that kind of threw me. They could have kicked a field goal there,
Got within 3.
got within striking distance, and
Yeah.
then kickoff, defense holds the Steelers, offense comes down, kicks a field goal to win it,
Yeah.
or tie it,
Well,
or
because
win it.
and if you make that, then later on you only need a field goal instead of a touchdown
Exactly.
to overtake them. When it's
Yeah.
15-10,
Exactly.
it would have been 15-13. You'd only need a field goal to win that game.
Yeah. And then the fumble, that was that.
Yeah, that was
You
solidified
can,
it.
as a Steelers fan in the AFC North, you got to wait till that clock hits 0 to
Yeah.
feel comfortable about the game. Like I wasn't, if it's within 1 score and 2 minutes left in the game, I'm still not relaxed. I was on the edge of my seat, rubbing my hands together, like, come on.
But I mean, you look at it. So you look at the dynamic between last year and this year. They were 8-0 this time last year. They're 4-4 this year. Even with that 4-4, 4 games worse, it's got to feel
4-3, I think.
Are they 4-3?
4-3. Browns are 4-4 because we had our bye week already.
Okay, well,
So either way,
4-3. It's still a different dynamic from 8-0 or 7-0 then at this point. So you look at it and you go, man, that 4-3 looks pretty good though right now. Like considering what we were expected to do going into this year, considering we kept Ben, we didn't prepare for our future again, and we still found a way to be over 500 at this exact moment.
Yeah.
You guys have to be feeling pretty good about 4-3.
I told you all. I went 9 I said 9-8.
Yeah.
I said Tomlin ain't gonna have a losing season.
Mhm.
He never has a losing season. Like you said, he pulls it off. The dude is a Hall of Fame coach. They figure their shit out one way or another. And I have belief that they will have a winning season, even if it's just 9 games and it's that bare minimum. We always find a way to play better than we're expected to play.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, we're 4 games in at this point. Jesse had us with 6 wins. You had us with 7.
Yep.
I mean, we're going to win more than 2 games in the next 7 games.
Mhm.
You know, we're 7 games in. We've got 10 more games still.
Yeah.
I say we have guaranteed 3 of our next games we're going to win. The others are toss up. So
Mhm.
at minimum, we're going to hit the 7 that you said. But I got faith in them, man. They figure it out somehow. You know,
I think it's going to depend on those out of division games. You know, like the division games are very tough. You're obviously playing in one of the best divisions in all of football. You know, so you got the Ravens, you got the Bengals who look good, except for last Sunday. You know, the Browns,
it's going to be hard for them
contrary
take
to
us
the
at
win. It's
home.
still going to be, it's going to be a toss up. So, I mean, I don't think there's not many games you can look at that schedule and go, that's an obvious win right there.
Yeah.
They're going to have to earn every game that they get.
Yeah.
And, you know, Tomlin likes it that way. He likes those close, gritty games.
Yeah, it's going to come down to injuries too. Like how
Mhm.
healthy can their defense stay?
Yeah.
I mean, their
Yeah.
defense hasn't been healthy in 2 years.
Yeah. Watt looks good though.
Watt looks good.
Mhm.
Dude, that touchdown rush, that was it Rich? What's the Browns running back? The third string.
Dearest Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, that cut that he made,
Mhm.
and watching Devin Bush and Minka Fitzpatrick both like over pursue and not make the cutback, that was bad football.
Yeah.
Like the two guys that know better.
Defining plays. Yep. Yeah. Could have went the other way for sure.
Yep. That shouldn't happen. But
what do you did you give a prediction? What do you think?
Yeah, it was going to be. I think I had a winning record, but I don't see playoffs this year.
No, I mean it's going to be Ravens. It's Ravens Bengals for sure. I don't think Browns even make it. They're supposed to be Super Bowl team.
Yeah,
they ain't going to make the playoffs.
At 4-4, it's tough to say right now, man, for sure.
Yeah. So you think what 9-8 like me?
More 10-7.
Hey, I like it.
I think they'll hit 10. I think they'll hit double-digit wins.
Like so 6 more wins. Okay.
As long as they got to stay healthy though.
Sure.
I mean,
that's 6-4 down the stretch.
You got
anything's a toss-up, man. We should not have won against the Browns. We should not have won this game Sunday.
I wasn't expecting
anything as a toss-up at this point.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I mean, just that's all it takes, man. Get those momentum wins and build for what little future you're preparing for sure.
Look at what they've been doing with Najee too.
Yeah.
Like the last 3 games, he's been carrying the ball.
Harris is sick.
A lot more. And getting those chunks of yards.
Yeah.
At the start of the season, they weren't giving them. They were throwing 52 passes and rushing it 18 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now they're balancing the run pass attempts.
Yeah.
And I think it's that AFC North division hard-nosed, get the yardage running game that the Steelers have been known for in the past.
Yeah.
About them boys.
How about them Cowboys? For sure.
Wow.
Speaking of surprise, I didn't call that one. That's for damn sure. So Sunday night, you know, there was speculation all week that Dak Prescott would not be able to play because he popped a tendon in his foot when during the last play of the Patriot game 2 weeks ago. They went on the bye week and they figured, well, the bye would give him enough time. He'll be fine. If it's only sprained or strained, as they said, 2 weeks is more than enough that he'll be fine. He'll be back on the field. But then they found out that he pulled the whole thing. He ripped the complete tendon out. So that's a 4-week injury. So now he's out for the game Sunday. They said he's also maybe going to miss 2 weeks after that Viking game. Yeah. So Cooper Rush comes in, and any Cowboy fan who's seen Cooper Rush in the preseason, granted preseason, but see this kid know throwing is not his forte, man, at all. I'd rather Ezekiel Elliott throw the fucking football than this guy. So when they said that, I was like, cool, you know what? The only thing I care about, we're going to lose this game. The only thing I care about is my 2 fantasy players on the Cowboys get their points. Yeah. And I knew they were going to run a lot with Zeke, which they did. And all I wanted was CeeDee Lamb to get his points, and he did. That was all I cared about. Once I won my fantasy game and we were tied with them at that point, it was 16-13. They were beating us. I said, you know what? We got the ball with 7 minutes left. We might be able to do this thing. Yep. And you know, Rush drove us down the field with a beautiful long drive and delivered. This man right here, Amari Cooper, had one of the best juggling catches I've ever seen in my life. Could have went the other way easily. Got it done. And there's something different about these boys, man. And I'm not willing to jump on the train to say they're going to win the Super Bowl like other analysts are dying to. But to me, they have a defense for the first time ever. That defense won the game for us. I don't care what anybody says. After that first touchdown drive, the Vikings had to go up 7-0. They held them to 3 field goals the rest of the game. That's huge with that offense. You got Justin Jefferson, you've got Dalvin Cook. Kirk Cousins is no slouch himself. These guys should be putting up 20 to 30 points a game, and we held them to 3 field goals. So that's huge. We have a defense. We have contributing factors on offense, obviously, and Dak Prescott, I feel, is the best he's ever looked.
Yeah.
He's on a redemption tour after, breaking his leg last year. Yeah, man, I don't think there's been a year probably since 2007 that I've wanted to see our team succeed so badly. But it feels pretty good. It's just the NFC is so tough.
Yeah.
You've got the Rams, you've got the Cardinals, you've got the Packers, you've got, the Saints are no slouch, even though they just lost their quarterback. Yeah. It's going to be a tough road, but I feel like if you win these gritty games, these are the ones that define you.
Yep. You guys got a lot to look forward to, I think. Super Bowl might be a stretch. Playoffs should be a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
And anything's possible, man.
You know,
the playoffs
let's
is
just
hit or miss.
Let them Cowboys just won one playoff.
Hey,
Well, we've got three since 1995. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
all right.
But like,
Give Chris a break. Give Chris's heartache a break for a change. Just something, man.
A friend of the show who's actually responsible for that jersey that Dan's sitting on, he will back me up on this. Before the year even started, I said, I look at the Cowboys schedule. First game of the year, we're losing. Yeah. Buccaneers. I actually said we're going to get killed. We didn't get killed. No. We could have easily won that game.
Yeah.
If we don't give the ball back to Tom Brady with a minute and a half left in the game, we win that game. Right. We're undefeated right now. But I said after that game, we have the ability to go 8-1 looking at that schedule.
Yep.
You're
on your way to it.
I still think we can do it. I think we beat Denver with ease on Sunday. They said Dak's coming back for sure on Sunday. You better believe that team is going to get their ass blistered on Sunday, especially after just losing Von Miller to the Rams.
Right.
You have no fucking chance of winning this game. And I don't get to say that often as a Cowboy fan. You have no chance of winning this game. Falcons the week after, better offense. It's a little tougher,
tough one.
but their defense is garbage. I feel we win that too. And then we have Kansas City, and we're going to see how far this team has really grown.
Kansas City's trash.
They're dude. The Giants should have beat them last night. Yeah, and if the Giants can compete with them to the point as 2017, we should be able to beat them by 10 points.
You guys should have no issue, man.
Yeah. They got figured out.
They're trash. You had them going to the Super Bowl,
huh?
You still think so?
I'm riding it out. Look. Here's the thing.
You thought so too, Dan?
And the Seahawks.
No, I had the Seahawks too.
I had Seahawks.
That one's gone. So. That one's long gone.
Yeah.
But the thing with the Chiefs is I still feel they're going to win the division for sure. They're only 2 back of the Raiders, and the Raiders have not impressed me.
Division probably, but not Super Bowl.
Yeah. But that's the first step.
Yeah, that's the first step to get into the playoffs.
Get it there, and then we'll get some momentum. The thing is,
Chris won't give his team an ounce of credit, but he's had Chiefs to the Super Bowl, man.
It's Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill.
Phony.
No, so like looking at the AFC, who would you say is the dominant front runner right now? Team
AFC.
Most people will tell you the Bills. They do not fucking impress me.
I had Bills and Seahawks.
Yeah,
Seahawks obviously isn't anything, but I had Bills and Seahawks going to the Super Bowl.
Bills are terrible against the Titans.
They're not playing great.
Yeah, and the Titans just lost their MVP candidate.
Yeah, the Steelers beat them too.
So, yeah. So who's the favorite in the AFC right now?
Baltimore probably.
No, they got
who lost to Cincinnati.
Yeah,
but that's what's been weird about this season. Like games that shouldn't be
by the Jets.
Games that shouldn't be happening are happening. Yeah, exactly. The Baltimore lost to the Bengals, which I would never see coming. And then they go on and lose to the fucking Jets. Like, it's such a toss up.
Who's the favorite?
But Bengals is fucking out here playing their season is insane.
Yeah.
They've been awful. They've been last in the division for the last, however many seasons. I don't know, man.
Since Andy left.
I just don't have hope that the Chiefs go through, but they do great. I mean, but I don't see it happening. It ain't going to be the Browns. So
no,
I mean,
I'm riding out the Chiefs.
Yeah. All right. We'll see.
I think they.
What about the other side? What did you have on the other side?
I had the Seahawks, but that's not happening.
Yeah, we all had the Seahawks.
That one I gave up.
What a fucking shit show.
It's injury. I mean, Russell got fucked. Chris Carson got fucked. They're coming back next week, but it's too late now.
They're not going.
They're playing in what I feel is the best division in football. The Titans, not without Henry.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't see it.
They had a pretty good draft. I mean, that's a good poll though. AP is a good poll.
Yeah, I mean he's good, but
I don't know.
It's so hard to fill that gap. And he's, Henry was on my fantasy team and trying to fill those points this week, looking at everything. Yeah. I'm going through trade deals now. I got someone, but it's a long shot.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting postseason.
Yeah.
See how we still got 10 weeks left.
Yeah. And
that's a lot of football still, man.
What injuries will happen between now and then?
Exactly. Yep. Oh, man. So we talked, I think 2 weeks ago, we talked about Aaron Rodgers and his Halloween costume that it was last year, sometime last year, November or so, that he said, I'm not cutting my hair until Halloween because of this costume that I'm going to be doing. And we talked about it on the show a couple weeks ago, what we thought it might be doing or what the big reveal was going to be, because what commitment he's going to grow his hair out and looks like a bum.
Had to be someone with long hair, obviously.
And it ends up being fucking John Wick. I was so pissed. Did you guys see the video or the pictures?
I did.
He tried to do the poses. The thing is, okay, it looked decent. Okay, the costume looked decent, but he did the side-by-side photos and they were awful. Like his poses were completely off. It was so bad. I'm like, you are such a bum, bro.
Aaron Rodgers is John Dick.
I just had such high hopes that it was going to be this big, great reveal. He told nobody until Halloween, and then he's going to announce it. And it's John Wick. Really?
Let's get a wig.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, the thing is, you don't even really have to grow your hair out that long for John Wick.
Right.
Like, he actually grew it too long. If you look at Aaron Rodgers' hair, John Wick's hair is not that long.
I wouldn't have picked it to be John Wick. Maybe
No.
Joe Dirt or something.
Yeah.
It was all. I was so let down. I was like, all of that hype, and he looked like such a fucking bum. Is he gonna cut it? I hope he cuts it.
That relationship with Shailene Woodley is still strange to me.
So
That just
weird.
still does not feel right.
So weird.
I don't think he's gonna cut it.
You think he's gonna leave it?
Yeah.
It looks
Until
so
they
bad.
lose.
Until he leaves the Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting. So if you guys listen to that show, it was John Wick. That's the big reveal.
Dude,
Fucking hate Aaron Rodgers.
That cracks me up. I don't hate him, but the fact that he plays his like I own you to the Bears,
Yeah.
like that cracked me up.
Yeah.
Oh, when he said, when he yelled at the crowd.
own you.
Yeah.
He's a bum. The dude's talented. I mean, I would take him to the Steelers if we had the opportunity, but
You might have that chance.
he's
Wait, yeah, we
I
might
would-
after this year.
I would love it. Last thing I had for sports was I don't know if anybody didn't see this coming, but the Cleveland Guardians, the new Cleveland Indians, is being sued by no other than the Cleveland Guardians.
They're not my baseball team.
So the Cleveland Guardians men's roller derby team,
Women's.
women's roller, is it women's?
Yep.
Oh, wow, all this time I thought it was men's. Either way, the Cleveland roller derby team with the name the Cleveland Guardians is suing them, saying that they lied about knowing the name and they secretly like hid their filings and stuff about the team. And they said that the baseball team tried to offer them some like super lame amount of money,
Undisclosed.
for the rights to use the name and everything. So do you think that this little roller team has the power to oust the MLB? Do you think the Cleveland Guardians baseball team reigns supreme and keeps the name and just has to pay out a bunch of money, or what do you think happens at this point?
What's your opinion?
I think that the baseball team's gonna reign supreme in this.
You think so?
By the end of this, you're saying?
Yeah, they're gonna have the name for their
Yeah.
MLB baseball team.
I agree.
Do you think that they
got the money.
lose liability? I mean, that's the thing. They have the money, which I'm saying. Do they pay out?
Well,
Because they're in the
have
wrong.
To. They have to.
They
because
will.
The name is owned by that roller derby team.
Because here's the thing.
So that was the one part I slightly
Yeah.
disagree, but then you nailed it. You
yeah.
hit it back.
Well, that's what I was saying. Do
They're
they
gonna
win or do they
pay-
just pay it out? Because here's the thing: if the roller
Well-
team wanted to be dicks and say they are wealthy and they don't give a shit about the money,
Yeah.
they could just keep telling the baseball team no,
Yeah.
and they could win because really they own the rights. They have first use rights. It was shown and known that the Indians knew
Yep.
and still tried to do it. So if it comes down to what's going to happen, the Guardians are going to keep the baseball team name. It's going to happen. But if we're talking about what could happen, the roller derby could stick it to the man and say, fuck you, and make them change the name.
Well, at one point
Easily.
you ask yourself, like, how important is the name to you? Like,
Mhm.
how far do you want to take this?
once the owners of the roller derby team start falling off, and then
Right.
you know,
No shit, right?
He's magically missing now.
I mean,
all we
how-
saw was a black suit.
Here's my thing. How much do you think that that's worth to the Indians at this point with all the rebranding they've already done and the website and logo design and jerseys and a new sign for the stadium? I wonder what a court.
well, we know they don't pay their players, so
It's very true.
That's a great point.
Very true.
I wonder worth much.
But I wonder what the roller derby team gets paid. I wonder what that name is worth, and in a court of law, what they say that the value of that
I was
is to
gonna say,
them.
you gotta-
I'm curious.
you got to put a value on the team. Like how much revenue are they bringing in? Are they
Mhm.
rolling with? Honestly, I didn't know that it was a goddamn
Roller
Sorry.
derby.
Nobody
A
does because
roller
roller derby is not it's 2021. It's not
Exactly.
1973.
But are they going to
So-
base it off the value of that team or the value of what the Indians have potential to make based on this change in name? You know, where does the revenue generate from is what I'm curious to see. Because
the value put on it has to come from the roller derby team.
so then if I'm the
Because
roller
Indians-
derby team and the Indians are in the court's like, you got to pay them 10 grand. I'm gonna say, fuck you. I'm sticking it to the man. I'm gonna make them pay me what I want. Whether the court says it's you need to, because all the court can say is, you know, it's worth $100,000. Indians have to pay you $100,000 or offer you something. They cannot force them to allow them to use the name.
Right.
The thing
That's
is,
what I'm saying. Money's going to be involved for sure.
Be big money.
It's going to be.
the thing is, when you're a victim though, and you take somebody to court, you ask for a sum of money. Like, like I'm suing Ryan Weiss for $10 million. Like that is what you're asking for ahead of time.
Yeah.
So it's not that they're going to get around with it. It's if the Guardians ask for $10 million, guess what? They're going to get $10 million. Otherwise, you're going to go use another name.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
I think they're going to get a big payday.
Yeah. I would stick it to them,
man.
Yeah. I'd say for the first time in your life, you're going to pay.
Yeah. I mean, they know what the Indians are worth. I mean, come on. They know what that franchise is worth. I'd be asking big money. I retire.
Yep.
You know, whoever started the Guardians, you know, pay your players, change your name, continue to play if you want, but fucking ride off and live your life, you know.
Did you see they started taking down the Indians letters today?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like they said, it's going to be a couple of days of like taken from the progressive field sign that's on the scoreboard there. Those are some huge fucking
It's going to
letters,
sit empty
man.
until they figure out this dispute.
Yeah.
I wonder if they can put Guardians up on there until this
No.
lawsuit is.
I don't think so.
Absolutely.
So what
not.
are they playing as a team then right now?
They're not.
They're
I
not.
mean, you better get this settled by April or March.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they can't do anything. They can't be selling merch or anything, I would imagine, until this is settled.
Yeah.
Unless they're still selling their old inventory.
Yeah, well, they have the Indian stuff still, but I
And-
mean, they started making Guardians.
Oh yeah, they're not gonna be able to sell that
That's
until
wild,
Yeah,
bro.
legally.
They better just
The-
fucking pay.
lawsuit or whatever is
Subsides.
yep.
Yep.
Bro. Hey, I mean, that's on them though. I don't feel bad just because they knew.
You knew.
They
Yeah.
knew it was there. They came out. They acknowledged it early on, and they tried to be.
I don't feel bad. Pay the roller derby team.
Exactly.
Pay 'em.
It's their
If you wanna
it's
use-
their intellectual property. They earned it.
Yeah.
Then if you want to use the name, then because at this point they will be non-existent as the Guardians. Nobody's going to know them as the Cleveland Guardians as a roller team anymore. Everyone's going to just know it as the baseball team. So if I'm them, take the money. Do what you want.
I still
ask for a lot of money though.
I still don't understand why you can't say Cleveland Tribe. Like just like look, I'm not getting into the specifics thing again.
I get it.
But like you could call yourself the Cleveland Tribe. What's wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with that?
I think anything Indian related at this point they can't get away with.
The fucking Braves, though.
I'm surprised. I think they're getting pushed to change their name.
Oh, that's never gonna happen. Not in the
Yeah.
South. That won't happen. There's no fucking way that'll happen.
Yeah.
Especially
Well, you got
they're in the World Series right now.
Yeah.
Did you see? This wasn't on my list, but I mean, just getting into name changes and things like that. If you get enough backing and pressure, they might end up because you got the in Texas right now with the laws that they rolled out. They've got organizations that are petitioning for players not to sign with any Texas teams right now.
Oh
because,
yeah.
you know,
I heard about that.
You never know, man. You get enough momentum behind it. Did you see that article?
What was the reason too? It's
Because of the new abortion laws and stuff they passed, I think, or something. So they're saying, you know, fuck Texas. Don't support them. They don't want athletes to sign.
These guys could be completely against that. They could say like, yeah, I don't support it either.
Yeah.
And like, no, don't sign them because they're from Texas because their parents moved them there or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
that's fucking wrong, man.
It's silly, man. But anyways, yeah, that's all I had for sports. I'm just curious. I'm curious to see what do you got. I want a prediction. What do you guys think they get off the wall?
I don't know if we'll ever know.
I have no idea.
You don't think they'll make it they'll announce it?
Undisclosed.
Just undisclosed amount?
Yeah, I see. The thing is, when we were talking about this initially, I was like, I don't even know because this is kind of unprecedented. I don't know what's the ballpark for something like this. What do you pay for a name?
I'm saying $2 million.
$2 million.
I'm
saying $2 million.
I'm thinking higher.
I was gonna say 10, and I'm like, that seems kind of high.
I mean, I guess I'd say
But they-
5 then.
Yeah.
They've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever they want.
5,
I
10
mean,
million.
They've
Well,
got the money.
here's the-
I'm gonna.
yeah.
Do you think more than that? More than 10?
Amazon just bought a golf course
Oh God.
down the road for a golf course, $1.8 million.
Peanuts.
Well, to them, that's nothing.
Yeah.
To a name,
Besso's
name,
fucking blows his nose with that.
is going to determine. I'd probably close to like 7 or 8 million.
Yeah.
Maybe 10.
Yeah, so we're about the same, between 5 and 10 million.
Here's the thing.
What a
said
payday,
two.
man.
Sit 2.
Yeah. Well, I initially thought 10, but I was like, that seems kind of high.
The baseball team, though, they can say if there's a number that's too high for them and they go like 10 million is too much for them and they say we want 10 million, fuck it, just pick another name, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I know you've got all this shit already in marketing and all that,
But you shouldn't try to be shady.
take a bath on it. Just
Yeah.
just go, you know what? We're not paying $10 million for you.
You know what I think? When they try to stick it to me for the t-shirts I made and they said you can't make that because of our name, well, fuck them then. Fuck them.
Oh, now the true motivation comes out.
Stick it to the man. If you want to, if other people can't use your name, then you shouldn't fucking be able to use somebody else's name. Fucking pay up, bitch. Fuck those guys.
How you weaseled that back
Dude,
in there.
and that Guardian
saying.
shirt that you have.
That made a lot of money. I sold out of it. I'm not
Wow.
making more though, just because I'm not getting in this, especially now. I'm not even trying to get down that road. I'm good, man.
That sure
Take the
might be a
money, bro.
collector.
Yeah, dude. I sold all of those.
Remember when we were at the laundromat and we saw that dude wearing your like one of your
Old school
original
Saint V color 330 shirt.
Wow, that
Wow.
was
2009,
random
2010.
laundromat.
It's real interesting when I see people out with it. I'm like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
cool. Dang it, Dan. I was moving on from sports, but then you brought up Amazon buying the golf course. Did you see Coca-Cola's buyout of that drink? What's it
Body
called?
Armor.
Yeah. Was Kobe a founding member of that? So Vanessa posted a big thing today with Kobe and Body Armor. I'm wondering if he was a founding partner or something. She's saying, I'm so proud of you. Wish you were here to see what your drink has become. And
Yeah.
Coca-Cola, like biggest drink acquisition ever, like $1.5 billion or something insane.
Vitamin Water, the owner, like the developers of Vitamin Water, they split off.
Yeah.
I believe split off and started
Body
Body
Armor.
Armor. 7-Up had acquired the distribution rights, and then
Yeah.
Coke came in and paid a lot of money
Yeah.
to take over the distribution rights for him. So I'm not surprised that like Body Armor is a very big brand.
Yeah.
He
and
is
it's growing quick.
He's an investing partner, and
Okay.
they just earned $400 million because of the deal.
I was
Kobe's
gonna say,
estate.
you know, Vanessa was getting paid.
Yeah.
From that, man.
So
400 million.
that's
So sad still, man. That's wild. Yeah, I saw that though, and I was like, damn, good for him. Legacy continues to live on, man. You know, the things after 400 million.
not a lot of people know that though.
No, I would have never known that until I saw her post it. Because I like following her stuff. Cool. Hollywood? You wanna do it up, Chris? Hollywood Report?
Hollywood.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Go! Wait. Everybody, calm down. Two, Steve, assemble!
Hollywood Report. So, hey, remember, I don't know why I just thought about this, but you remember when we first started the segments and we used to try so hard to make sure we like ended a topic that we could like segue
Transition.
into the next one, and we would like all sit here and like try and think of like the easiest way to like make it make sense for the next topic. I'm so glad we don't do that anymore. It was so bad. Sometimes we have some really good ones now, but man, that was always felt so pressured and awful.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Observation: when I drink, I get angry. Speaking of angry, let's start off Hollywood Report with a rant.
right, exactly.
So Chris fucking Pratt.
Oh boy,
Yeah,
here it comes.
We're gonna go here, and I don't care how many people I alienate along the way. So we recently announced that Chris Pratt was the voice of Mario in Super Mario World, the movie adaptation. Well, now he's been cast as another animated hero, Garfield the cat. Okay, Hollywood.
Chris is so pissed.
So here's the thing. Chris Pratt got nothing but love for the dude. Okay, like I don't think he's a bad actor. Before this, I got nothing but love for the guy. I think he's a good actor, not a great one, but he's a good one. He just doesn't have a lot of depth to his voice, his vocal range, if you will. Stop fucking casting him for everything.
What if he comes out and blows your mind?
If he blows my mind, then I will be the first one.
So-
As I've said in reviews before, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I will admit that I was wrong.
Because who knows? What has he really done that's required him to like really put out any kind of voice acting? I mean, all of his roles are the same character pretty much. You know, he plays this doofus, good-looking guy,
Movie.
you know, but nothing that really has required much extension of his voice. I'll be excited if Mario comes out and he blows it away.
I think
I like him.
I think he has a voice that could
He's got a charismatic voice.
that could work for Mario. Now
Yeah.
for Garfield,
What's Garfield's voice sound like? I can't remember. It's like
It's
raspy.
Bill Murray. It's Bill Murray.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't
Not excited, Dan.
know.
Yeah, I like it. I like Chris Pratt.
I mean,
A lot of people don't like him. Is he a Trumper?
Yes, that's why, and that's
Okay.
why a lot of people.
I know a lot of people don't like him. I couldn't remember what it was for. He's a Trumper.
make your
but-
money, dude. Make
But-
your money.
Yeah,
But-
look, I don't know. I hope Mario comes out and he blows it out of the water, and then this is just the next like great thing. His a recognizable voice. I think you could agree his voice is recognizable, so maybe that's why they're playing to that.
I'm going to give you a caveat that's going to help your argument in defeating me. The Lego movie.
Yes,
He was in the Lego movie.
Yes,
And he was pretty good in the Lego movie
Yeah.
too. But
I get your point.
his voice was obviously him in the Lego movie.
Yeah.
When I look for vocal range as far as vocal acting goes, like I want a transformative experience.
Yeah,
I wanted to go like at the end, like that was Chris Pratt. God, it didn't even sound like him.
Yeah, I get that point. I think that they might be leaning on the
That's
fact
like
that people
Groot.
recognize his
I didn't know that was
name,
Vin
and
Diesel.
they're
That's a great one.
super
and
impressive.
Rocket.
Yeah. Bradley Cooper.
Dude, I was trying. I try so hard when I
See,
watch
that
those
one.
Movies. Like
Rocket, I can hear. I
can't.
try to hear Vin Diesel. Like I try and force. You cannot fucking. It does not sound anything like him.
Rocket, I can't.
Yeah,
ever
those
get.
are impressive.
I mean, they distort Vin Diesel's voice, obviously, like it's
Yeah.
all mixed up and everything, but at the same time, like you would think you'd get some kind of inflections of his personality, you know,
Yeah.
like, but now, like that's a great example.
yeah,
But yeah, he's done Lego movies, so he has done animated films before.
yeah.
I don't know.
love
I
it.
feel like there's other actors, and this shit happens so
Who
close.
would you want to be Garfield?
Well, I mean, Bill Murray was the initial
Well,
one, but
but I
because
mean-
he hated the movies so much.
Yeah, and he's old as fuck. He's a
Um,
zombie. I love Bill Murray. Don't get me wrong, but the dude's
Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg.
Mhm.
I could see
for
that.
Garfield?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I could see that. What about Mario? I don't know if we talked about this one.
We
talked about
did,
release
but
of Mario.
oh, God,
I don't.
Nick Offerman.
Get out of here.
No, Nick Offerman should be Garfield though.
Oh, Garfield. Okay, not
Yeah.
Mario.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick Offerman
Nick-
is like,
Nick Cage should be Garfield.
oh
Nick
my
Cage.
God.
God.
Hey, where's Odie?
What about John Leguizamo as Mario? He
John
can switch
oh my
roles.
God, from the
From
original.
Luigi.
This one's for Bob Hoskins. man.
Yes, dude. Anyways, I don't know. I'm excited for Pratt. I'm curious to see how it rolls out. Look, if he sucks, we'll admit that he sucks. But I'm honestly I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. He's a goober, bro. I think he's gonna get super into character, and like he's gonna love it. He seems like a little kid, like really ecstatic right now that he's getting these roles,
Mhm.
and I feel like he's just gonna
I just
get in it and get really into it, and it's gonna do really good.
I get it for Mario. I don't get it for Garfield. I
Yeah.
just don't.
I mean,
I haven't watched Garfield in probably 25 years.
I was gonna say, let's be
But-
honest. Who's gonna fucking go see Garfield anyway, other than Chris because he has to?
But my memory is not a Chris Pratt type voice like for Garfield.
It's not even
It's
close.
more mundane. You need something a little more mellowed out.
That's why I said Nick Offerman would probably be perfect
Yeah.
for Garfield the cat. We'll transition though for now. So
Chris was just Chris Pratt would transition.
No Time to Die, the newest Bond movie, has beaten the Avengers in at least the UK box office. It has recently overtaken the Avengers with $124.3 million made
Wow.
in the UK alone, topping Avengers Endgame, which was 121 million even. So that just lets you know how big Bond is in Europe.
In Europe, absolutely.
I mean, that's where it's from.
Yeah.
It originated. That's impressive.
But this is the 5th biggest box office in European history. So like
wow.
that's pretty remarkable for a movie that won during the COVID age,
right.
you know, where not everybody wants to go back to the movie theater yet. And two, it's a Bond movie, but there's been 26 of these movies already, and this one is the highest grossing Bond film of all time in the UK.
Do you think it being the finale played anything into that?
The finale, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I think you were about to make a point too.
Anticipation for this movie. It's been
2 years.
2 years
Yeah.
since it. Yeah, I was gonna say 1.5 years, 2 years.
And another thing, inflation certainly doesn't hurt.
That's true.
When you're thinking more for each ticket,
yeah.
you know, more options now. You can go to the 4D and pay like $20 for a ticket just because your seat vibrates and gives you a dildo.
Heyo.
Never mind.
A dildo.
He's thinking about the wrong type of wrong type of theater.
But
Chris, that's wrong movie.
I think it's pretty cool though, because the Avengers is kind of a worldwide thing. You know, it's not just in Europe, it's known everywhere.
Yeah.
But like, it just shows you, like you said, how big Bond is in Europe. And, you know, at least this incarnation of Bond will be missed, you know, for the foreseeable future.
I'm really just, Daniel Craig was a phenomenal James Bond. So
either my favorite or second favorite.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed to see his era end.
Yeah. Also, we had some big casting news this week, and I'm not talking about Chris Pratt. Yeah, surprisingly, someone else got cast for a role. That's pretty amazing. The MCU, one of their biggest baddies of all time, MODOK, is going to be cast by Jim Carrey.
How do you feel about that?
Man, this is an interesting decision.
Uh-huh.
So here's the thing: Jim Carrey can act. He can do villains. We've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
This villain, to me, it's not a Jim Carrey problem. It's that I don't think it fits in this MCU problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because just the appearance of this character, they're going to have to do some work on.
Yeah.
So it's big head. This guy's basically the biggest genius in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's done scientific experiments to expand his intelligence, so he can outthink Tony Stark, initially Tony Stark, and every smart Avenger, always be 5 steps ahead of them, which has left his anatomy looking like a huge head, ginormous head, and the rest of his body is like tiny.
Yeah. I hope
Like
they
Mars
do it
Attacks
right.
type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
I hope that they do it right. I hope it doesn't come off as corny, because that's one thing that Marvel has done really well, is that their characters have felt realistic, unlike DC, where you can tell it's a superhero cartoon corny type thing.
Yeah.
I really hope they do
Starfish.
it well. And yes, like it was awful.
And the thing is, outside, like, I know we disagreed on that. Outside of that villain, I was cool with most of that movie. Like, the villain to me is the weak part. Everything around that, it could be the Avengers hunting like Slimer from the Ghostbusters, and I'd have been cool with it.
But yeah, I like Jim Carrey. I think
Yeah.
that dude can evolve to any role. Honestly, like he's amazing.
I think he can do it for sure.
But I think, like what you said, I agree. It's going to be interesting how they portray the character and how they what story they're going to tell, you know, and how it's going to work out. When are we getting it? It's far down the line.
The first example they said is Ant-Man Waspomania, or whatever the hell the third movie's called.
Okay,
Quantumania, I think, is Ant-Man and Quantumania.
that's the first time we'll see.
That's the first time we'll see MODOK, but they said he's going to also be in She-Hulk and one other property I can't think of at this point. So they're at least looking for long term. The thing is, we already know MODOK is not the big baddie of this
series or whatever.
This version
Incarnation.
of the MCU. Yeah. We know that goes to Jonathan Major's role that we saw in Loki.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm curious to know how far they take this. Is this just going to be a show thing? We know Ant-Man, though, is a movie, but maybe in She-Hulk he gets defeated and killed by the most powerful woman on Earth. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, but
I like Jim Carrey though.
interesting trailer news. We got a couple other things I want to talk about. Big trailer dropped just last week. I don't know if you caught it or not. It was a teaser for Lightyear.
Yeah, buddy.
And look at that face. Wow. Somebody's psyched already to talk about it.
Dan looks super excited.
I'm going to turn it over to you in a second. Just hold on.
Do your thing. Do your thing.
So Lightyear is basically a prequel to all of the Toy Story movies. There's been 4 of them at this point. This will be the 5th one, which is technically the first one of them all. And they cast Chris Evans in the role, which is a lot different from Tim Allen.
It could have been Chris Pratt.
I'm surprised it wasn't. I'm sure he's in there somewhere. Maybe he's the Rocket or something, you know. But yeah, so it looks interesting to me. I'll say my points first, and then I'll let Dan go nuts on my ass. I think it looks good. I'll tell you why. The animation's a lot different from Toy Story, as to where Toy Story is this big, bubbly, vibrant color pattern. This one's a lot darker, a lot sleeker, a lot, similar to what you look for in a space movie. They've definitely changed that, and tonally it does feel a lot different. The music for the trailer is perfectly chosen. David Bowie's Starman is the perfect theme song for this movie. I mean, lyrically, musically, it all works perfect, and it's all distorted and sound mixed accordingly with the movements of the rocket.
Yep.
I like that they don't show a lot as far as plot goes, which is what a teaser trailer is supposed to do. That's why I love teasers more than actual trailers. Just enough to get you lured in, but not to tell you anything along the way. To me, is it a necessary property? I don't think so. I don't think it's a necessary prequel, but it's one that I'm looking forward to nonetheless.
Yeah. Daniel?
Growing up with Toy Story, I mean, that was probably my all-time favorite, one of my all-time favorite series, like movies, and
I hate 3, but I like the others.
Yeah, I just, it's a stretch to me to try to pull this character out of a toy movie.
Well, yeah, because his origins, like, he's a toy to begin with, so
exactly.
Now we're saying he's real.
Exactly, and that's what I don't like about it. Is you're it's a talking toy, and that's what Toy Story is, talking toys, not like defeating Zurg, Emperor Zurg, and all that. Like, it's unnecessary to me.
Of course, what if there's a twist, and the twist is this is all happening in the mind of like kids playing with their toys and all that.
That would be cool, but I still don't.
The old Lego movie twist.
I don't think it's necessary. I saw the trailer, and like you said, it was more darker, but that's not the way I see Toy Story. That's not the way I see Buzz Lightyear. It's not the way I want to see Buzz Lightyear.
Can I tell you what Chris Pratt thought?
What did he say? Disappointed that he didn't get cast?
Because whatever he thinks is important.
I wanted to be Slinky.
Jesus.
Ryan, what did you think of this trailer?
I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I think I love the animation style. I think it seems like this is probably one of my favorite styles of animation.
I agree.
I love that it seems more it's like an adult style. The darkness of it. I get Dan's point with where does the story go, or the necessity of it, or what are we going to tell? But I feel like this looks like it's geared towards more of the generation that grew up with Toy Story, and that's who they're kind of trying to appeal to.
Older audience, you're saying?
I'm
but
saying,
I don't. That's the thing, is like I grew up with it, and I hate it. I don't.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say I hate it.
Yeah, come on, give it a chance.
You got to watch it first.
I'm talking about like look and feel of the way that they're like the way that the trailer went. I don't know where the story is going to go. It's a toy. So what are you going to tell about him? Like him fucking being produced into a toy? We don't know anything about the story.
Yeah.
But off of what I've seen, I'm excited to see where it goes. I like the way that they've made him look. He's more grown up. It doesn't have the kid style, like playful, look and feel to it. So I don't know. I have high faith in Disney. I think that they do it right. And we'll see where it goes. I mean, I haven't been let down by the other ones yet. So,
you think we get a Western story for Woody's origins?
Where does it end?
Is it going to be like a sexy Bo Peep?
I mean,
I'd like
Mr.
to see,
Potato Head.
I'd like to see Bo Peep in this animation style.
It's Potato Head and T-Rex, and they're in a buddy cop comedy.
Let's do it, man. Look, I'm all for a good movie. So it's not something where I think it's going to get ruined.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it ends up sucking like Dan thinks. We'll just have to wait and see. When do we get it?
It's supposed to be next summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see more of a storyline with Woody than I do Buzz Lightyear, because
for an origins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
even the Andy thing.
There's a lot more you can do with a Woody than you can a spaceman.
That's right.
Obviously. Just saying.
Was that an innuendo?
No,
but there's a lot of stories you can tell.
There's
with a Woody
in Toy Story 2. There's a background.
Yeah.
Of, is it 2? Yeah.
The abandoned toys, you're saying?
No, the Jesse and why am I blanking on the horse?
Oh fuck.
Bullseye. But like all that, like that was a kids or a cartoon growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like that they pulled those characters from something. Where Buzz Lightyear, he was just a spaceman that they created video games for, and this toy. There's not a real backstory as to why.
That's what we're gonna find out in this movie, the origin of him.
But there was no this is completely out in the unknown. The only thing you know is Space Command and Zurg. That's it.
And it's interesting
because
because
Zurg created due to the video game needing a villain.
Yeah,
I just don't think that this was necessary.
It's interesting. I agree as far as necessity goes. I don't think it is necessity, but it's interesting because you go back to the first one, and like when we meet Buzz, he's telling us all this story about how he's got to get back to the planet, and Emperor Zurg and all this, and then by the end of the movie, that's the big twist for him. It's that he finds out that no, he is just a toy. Yep. Like everything that he's been told is a lie. So where does this fit in is the question. Like where?
Well, he doesn't know he's just a toy yet. So who knows?
But the thing is, he's obviously telling the truth then, and everybody else is the ones that are
fucking correct.
They don't understand. Yeah. So like everything he's been telling us, he's the right one. Everybody else is crazy. That's an interesting twist.
Yeah.
Keep it a toy.
I don't know.
Not a spaceman.
Yeah.
Like a real no. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Not for me. I'll watch it.
It might suck. I'm looking forward to it. I like Disney properties, so I love Toy Story, and
I'm the one guy who hates Toy Story 3, so I understand you. Two more things. I want to turn over to video games real quick, and I wanted to ask my man Ryan over here, who had the pleasure of checking out Nintendo Switch N64 arrival.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Tell us about this, Ryan, as far as the N64 coming over to Switch.
So they did another expansion. It also is a Genesis expansion as well that you can get. So N64 in Genesis, you had to do like an upgrade to your online account. So they've had NES and Super NES so far in the past. Those were included with just your normal online subscription to Switch Online. This one involved having an expansion pack to play it, but it's probably about 15, 16 games so far that they've released. I'm assuming they'll add to that catalog as they garner rights and things.
So they didn't drop everything.
No, it's a selection of games. Zelda is on there, which I'm stoked to play.
Which one? Majora's or
Ocarina of Time?
Oh yeah, good call.
So I'm pumped to play that on the Switch. So
Star
Fox is on there. All the games, I think almost every game that's on there I have on 64 already. But the thing is that you can just play it on there and take it with you. So GoldenEye is in talks, but Rare, whatever, who owns it, is being they're not wanting to give up the rights to it, so we're not sure yet. They gave up the rights to something else though, to one of their other games. I think Banjo-Kazooie, which they own.
Yeah,
there's talks of Banjo-Kazooie being released on the Switch, and it's owned by Rare as well. So there's hopes for GoldenEye. That would be fucking amazing.
It's probably just worth.
Isn't Banjo-Kazooie on Xbox right now?
Yeah. It's one of the biggest, it's the best first person shooter there is.
I agree.
So yeah, I'm sure that it's a boatload of money to get it released, but I mean, they licensed it to 64. What's the difference at this point?
And they had it on the Wii.
GoldenEye,
they re-released on the Wii.
Was it the actual GoldenEye though?
It was.
See, I just want the N64, no upgrades.
No,
just GoldenEye version of the game. That's
was
all I want.
Graphics were improved slightly, and there were some differences in the missions and everything, but it was very close.
Oh, I do remember it.
I have it because I bought the gold Nintendo 64 controller to go with the Wii.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
But where else are they making their money on it? They're not selling N64 games.
That's the thing. It's just what I was going to tell Ryan. It's just a pump for another payday, pretty much. Like if another system comes out 10 years from now and says, "Hey, we want to put GoldenEye on our system too," they're going to go, "Cool, pay up."
But here's the thing: Nintendo should. I mean, look, they know people they'll want to play it.
Yeah,
and they already had an upcharge to the online play.
Is it like another $20 or $30,
$30 or $40? So. They're making money off people upgrading to play it. I'll buy it. If they want to release it as an actual game for Switch, I'll buy it. I don't care.
I think tons of people would. It's one of the best, if not the best N64 game of all time.
They'll make money on it. So anyways, it's fun. You can take it with you. I play my Switch, like on lunch breaks and stuff. It's a good time kill. I played Super Mario World for a little while.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing just to get back into playing that game. I rarely take my 64 out and plug it in, hook it up. So it's just quick, easy access to a lot of those
that's
games.
the other thing with the N64 with the inputs on these new TVs, you know,
barely any of them have AV outlets.
Right.
It's
all
got to get adapters and
Firewire, not was it now?
HDMI and yeah. So
and if you do plug it in, like Alicia was playing Mario Kart. She's like,
that's on there too.
Graphics are so bad.
Really?
It's like because you're watching
When you play it
on
on a giant
def,
TV, it doesn't look good.
So it's not giant. It's
Yeah.
like 70 inches.
You're saying for flat screen TVs, it looks.
It tries to stretch it out because
it's pixel. Like
they do the square image like because I mean at the time these systems were released, there wasn't widescreen TVs. Everything was a square TV.
Yeah.
So it's a square image, but I mean when you take a low quality 8-bit, 16-bit game and try and put it on a 4K TV, it just doesn't. It's stretched. It doesn't look as good. Which is on the Switch. It's perfect. It's a very small, compact screen.
Right, but on a bigger screen,
it looks just as good as it would
blurry.
Originally. But you stretch that out onto a huge TV, and it doesn't look that great.
I play my 8-bit on my flat screen at home all the time. My 8-bit Nintendo, and I'm like, oh my god,
yeah, dude,
these graphics look
so bad,
so fucking bad, man.
What I want them to release now that they have 64 though is some of the wrestling games because 64 had some of the best wrestling games.
WCW versus NWO Revenge,
WrestleMania, dude.
Yep.
There were some fucking amazing
I hate it.
wrestling games on 64.
The blockheads.
I do, but it was so fun. It would be so fun on Switch, man. I don't even care.
The faces were the best.
Kevin Nash.
Dude, it's so good. Remember, like they'd come out and the fireworks would go off and they just looked like fucking confetti. It was so awesome.
They'd move like,
but it was still so fun.
The thing is wrestling games now have
Still
gotten so difficult to play because
Yeah.
you've got it's all about combo.
It's not fun.
it's more strategic.
Look, here's the thing. They're not that fun anymore. And honestly, the graphics have not excelled that much. When you look at like football games, basketball, baseball games, they look lifelike. I bought a wrestling game for Xbox 360 or whatever, or Xbox One. I was not that impressed, man. I was like, I turned it on. I was like,
there's so many glitches.
Yeah, it's not that great. Bring it back on the Switch. It'd be fucking amazing. Long story short, it's worth it. Download it if you're into that. There's a new Animal Crossing expansion coming out here in the next week or two, which I'm looking forward to. They have a new Mario Party that they just released. Switch is having a great week, great month, a lot of releases and stuff. So,
are there any improvements to it that you would like to see done, like in the long run?
I haven't had any issues with it. I mean, the one thing that I did notice, if you play it often, is the way that the controls are set up, where they slide in and off the sides of the controller.
Yeah.
Those start to get weak after a little while, and it's like $70
Yeah.
for a new set of those little controllers, which is a lot of money. I think maybe $20-$30 would be fair. $70
Oh, Nintendo
to get a new set of the Joy-Con controllers or whatever. Which so that kind of sucks. Make sure you take care of it. You can upgrade though. You can upgrade to a stronger mount where they're like metals attachments.
I love a stronger.
They just on the new Switches,
stronger mount.
They updated their screen to an OLED screen.
Yeah,
so I wonder how different.
The light, whatever.
No, it's on the regular. The
okay.
all the new ones that are out now are OLED.
Gotcha.
So I wonder what the difference is as far as resolution and
yeah.
That's not one of those things where I'm really. It's not like a system like an Xbox or PlayStation where I'm really interested in like consistently upgrading to get like a new one. I'm content with where it's at for what it is because I don't play it on a TV. I don't play mine on the TV like you guys mainly do, Dan. Mine's just the handheld, just easy to take around with me on vacation and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm cool with where it's at.
But real quick with Xbox.
Yeah.
I've got the Xbox One X. I am so disappointed in the games that they've released for it, specifically for it, has been very minimal.
Why so?
I don't know. They're supposed to launch Halo with the Xbox a year ago.
Yeah.
They still have yet to launch it.
Okay.
And it's designed for the Xbox One X. Every game that I see is Xbox One S and X.
Was production halted because of everything going on?
I have no idea.
You can't even buy the systems. I still want one.
Right,
I still can't get one.
Wow.
But I'm glad because otherwise I'd spend the money and not having to play with it.
I mean, I'm trying to download, trying to find something that will show me exactly what this system can do.
Yeah.
I can't find one.
all that money and it's just backwards compatible games.
Yeah, that's all I'm playing.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Same with PlayStation though. PlayStation
Like
5
the Forza
honestly
games
hasn't
are coming
had any-
out.
Yeah.
The racing games, those are usually pretty good as far as resolution goes. But I'm really disappointed with the fact that here we are a year later and we still haven't seen Halo Reach.
Yeah.
That's a bummer, man.
They sold that. They oversold on that system and they have not delivered anything.
Did you see the
on
story
it.
of Walmart stashing all the PS5s in their warehouses for the holiday
No.
season?
Like they already have them?
They have tons of them.
I imagine you have to.
Why hold on
But
to
they've
them
been-
now? Sell them now when you can get full price because you know the holiday time they're just going to put them on sale. They'll have deals on them. Get full price for them now. People will buy
They
them.
are hoarding them.
Jeez.
They're not. They have them to release slow. They're releasing certain
Like
amounts of
batches
them online.
That's so they can keep an inventory on it and
And
keep
then-
it in stock.
Yeah, but it was a warehouse employee that took like a TikTok of
There's like 40,000 of these fucking.
20 feet, 30 feet high, steel racking, like probably 200 feet down the line, all full
Jeez.
of pallets of PS5s.
Hope you got security on that thing, man.
That guy probably lost his job
Yeah.
letting that info out.
Whoopsie.
Last thing for Hollywood Report, I want to get back to movies here for a second. I wanted to start a new segment on the show, which is weekly box office top 5.
Let's do it.
I think it'd be cool to look at some trends and just kind of see how certain movies are doing at certain times. We don't always talk about all the releases that are on this show, but certain ones deserve our attention and other, well, fuck them. So we're just going to run through the top 5 and just some honorable mentions here that I think are shocking to say the least. Number 5 this week it's been on the charts for 6 weeks now, and that is Venom: Let There Be Carnage. It made 5 million this week, 5,000,007 to be exact. 5th place is pretty solid after 6 weeks.
Yeah, dude.
You know, the Venom name is certainly big, regardless of how people like me feel about the movies. You know, it is still a moneymaker, and I guess that's the most important thing to Sony and Marvel. Number 4 this week is actually an anime series, My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission. Made 6 million this week. That's pretty solid, considering it only opened in 1,500 theaters.
So I don't even know what the hell that is.
Yeah, so that's
I don't know.
I don't do anime.
and when you hear some of the movies that were left out this week later on, you'll be even more surprised by it. So that was 6.4 for 1,500 theaters. By the way, Venom is still running in 3,200 theaters nationwide.
Wow.
There's a big niche for those anime. There's a lot of anime fans. So
Yeah,
I
not
can
for
see
me.
that.
It's yeah, and I've heard people say that they're going to see that movie and all that, and I'm usually like, well, why don't you go see Dune, or why don't you go see
Right. See
this
something
movie or that?
worthwhile.
Yeah, like who gives a fuck about that? Number 3 this week, No Time to Die. We spoke about it a little earlier. So for its English box office right now, it made 7.7 million this week. Its total gross in America is $133 million. So for, you know, considering these are COVID times, guys, you know,
impressive.
this movie is really rising to the occasion and showing that studios should be comfortable as long as they have the decent property to release with it,
Right.
you know, with that confidence. You know, I think people are like us. We're just yearning to get back to the movies anyway. It's not always just hardcore enthusiasts, like we've talked about a couple times on this show. I feel like a lot of people want to go back. They want things to be back to normal again. I would say everybody does, but there comes a time and place like, look, whatever movie it is, for me, it was Dune. For other people, I'm sure it's other things.
Garfield.
Could be Garfield, starring the great Chris Pratt, God himself. But you know, people just want to get back there. They want to feel some semblance of normalcy, and I think it's going to take off, especially around Christmas time. The Christmas movie season is going to be back this year, and I think that's what's going to ease studios' concern. And hopefully, while I like a lot of these streaming movies, you know, straight to your house and all that, I don't feel like it's always the best case scenario. Like with Dune, it has to be seen in the theater.
I was gonna say that, like, HBO Max has had a lot of these movies release on there,
Yeah.
and I scroll right past it. Like,
Mhm.
I this isn't a movie I want to watch on my TV.
Yeah.
I want to see it in theaters. So
Dune and Denis Villeneuve films, who directs the movie, like his movies are an experience. They're not films. They have to be seen in a theater, just like
Yeah.
Marvel. You wouldn't watch Marvel at home.
Right.
Like you want to see that in the biggest, loudest theater possible. So that it's the same thing. But No Time to Die is at number 3 this week, still running strong considering 4 weeks. You know, still in the top 3. So that's pretty good. Number 2, Halloween Kills, the sequel to the 2018 Halloween film, banked in $8.7 million. This is remarkable considering 1, this is the 3rd week for the movie.
I'm impressed.
2, this was a straight to Peacock streaming option, and it's still banking in $8.7 million in its 3rd week.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Do you think people are watching it on Peacock and then going to see it in theaters after they like it so much, or?
I don't know. That's an impressive number for that type of movie, even nonetheless. That's usually you see it weekend release or whatever, when it first comes out, with it being Halloween time, but 3 weeks in and still being that number 2.
Strong.
This was Halloween week though too. Maybe that's a big kicker for it too. I would imagine.
I'm wondering what the weekend numbers looked like from first week, second week to third week, as far as was this weekend like the weekend for it, or but either way, still impressive.
It's 85 million right now as its total America gross.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's doing solid, man. For a Peacock release, it's showing that the streaming isn't really having that much of an effect on the numbers. Which is remarkable.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. And number 1 for the second straight week, I'm happy to say, is Denis Villeneuve's Dune. $15 million more this week, added on 15.4 to be exact. 4,100 theaters worldwide or nationwide, 69 million to date. And it extends its box office dominance. What's remarkable about this is Villeneuve films aren't typically known for being number 1 at the box office. Blade Runner 2049 was a spectacle, but it was not number 1 at the box office ever 1 week.
That's what I was going to say. I honestly kind of pictured this being like a Tenet, where it was for a very specific crowd, and like people were going to be pumped to see it, but a very small group of people.
Yeah.
Number 1 is very impressive for that movie.
Yes.
It looks beautiful. I still haven't watched it yet, but
I haven't either.
It says a lot, I think.
I think there's a lot of people have a lot of interest because the cast. I think the cast is really strong.
Cast is great.
People know those names. They don't know the Dune story or the Dune history. And
I don't think you have to.
No. They're going out there to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked to a few people that they're like, I don't know what this movie is going to be about or anything, but they go and watch it.
Yeah.
So
isn't that great though? A trailer doesn't give everything away. So yeah, that's number 1. I want to talk about a couple of interesting notes though. This week we had 2 horror movies released this week to theaters, and man, they tragically underperformed. So bad so that one was 7th and one was 6th. First off, number 6. This is surprising that this movie did better than the 7th place, and that's Antlers, $4.2 million. Antlers to me was just an okay. It's a horror film, bodily horror, based on an indigenous folklore tale, Wendigo, if anybody knows about that character. And it takes place in Oregon. Solid enough atmospheric, but nothing that's really scary or anything that I would recommend going to the theater for. Apparently some people found joy in it though, because it made $4.2 million, which is solid. It's definitely going to make back its budget, which is just under 10 million. And it's playing in 2,800 theaters, so it's getting the push, for sure. And then the biggest disappointment of the week, Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho, $4.1 million, which is a huge disappointment for a movie that had as much press, had as much, marketing as that one did, and a big name like Edgar Wright, and especially considering it's playing in 300 more theaters nationwide than Antlers is. Why did this one underperform so badly, guys?
I honestly wasn't too thrilled about either of them. So I had no desire to see either of them in the theater. I think 6th and 7th is honestly pretty high for overall box office for those.
Did One Night in Soho go streaming?
No. These are both movie theater.
Movie theater. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting because movies that are getting released on streaming are doing great.
Yeah.
Still, but the movies that are getting released straight to theaters,
it just got to be that audience, the audience that you're targeting. I don't know. I mean, like you said, One Night, that did get marketed well. I mean, if anything, that should have done well, but I don't know. I think going up against a Halloween movie at Halloween time, that's going to draw a big audience.
Yeah.
So it could just be based on the release time. That's what theaters are fighting with right now, because people aren't going out as often. So people might be going to the movie once or twice. I mean, of those lineups, what are you going to see? You know, it kind of shows.
Halloween's the popular name,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah, like it's not the movie I would pick again to watch if I had to go spend a free ticket. But yeah, I definitely get it gets its appeal.
Just the time of release.
Yeah.
It just is the most fitting one to see, you know.
I-
You give me any 4 movies the week of Halloween, and if one of them is a Halloween themed movie,
Yeah.
that's the one I'm going to see. It just kind of
Sure.
it just plays to the atmosphere, you know, and it makes it fun to watch. So
I guess I'm curious to see if Last Night in Soho rebounds next week.
That-
You know, like 4.1, man, that's a very low number for an Edgar Wright film, considering his filmography pertains to like Shaun of the Dead, Baby Driver, you know, all these movies that are popular cult favorites that have an audience for sure,
Yeah.
and a niche that of people that like them.
Yeah.
7th place, oof, not
especially to Antler.
yeah.
I would think that it would have done better than Antler.
Yeah, Antlers made $100,000 more than that did.
Which
It's-
doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're really thinking about ticket costs, I mean, it's a lot more viewers.
Yeah.
100,000 is a lot of money.
and it's 300 less theaters.
Yeah.
My draw to it would be Anya Taylor-Joy.
Obviously.
Oh,
You and Chris both, you can fight over
those eyes, man. Jesus. Oof.
What if they released that movie during the Queen's Gambit hype? Think you'd get a lot more pull
I think so.
Yeah, probably.
just because of that.
Yeah.
alone. She kind of faded off a little bit.
Because while she's not the main character of this, well, I'll tell you what faded off her star was the New Mutants. And I know a lot of people I know some people liked it. That movie's garbage. I don't care what anybody says. That movie is hot garbage. Even Anya Taylor-Joy couldn't save that
I
fucking
forgot she was in that.
trash hole. So yeah, that's it for the top 5. We'll keep an eye on it next week, see what happens. We've got some bigger releases coming this week. Obviously, Marvel Eternals is dropping on Thursday.
Yeah.
So I look for that to probably take the number 1 spot from Dune. I'd be surprised if Dune holds on to it for another week.
That's one I definitely want to see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Cool beans.
That's it.
That's all for the Hollywood
I've been
it, sir.
watching some like Facebook videos on it.
on the Eternals. What did I miss?
Just watching a bootleg copy.
Oh my God. All right. That's gonna kick us off into Let's Get Social.
I know.
It is July 20th, 1969, and man is about to land on the moon.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning
Land
by
on
a
my
faceless
moon.
coward, and freedom will be defended.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's the way the news goes.
This is a fucking just shit show.
That's what our transitions are.
I was
like.
like-
That's what our transitions used to be like. Yeah. So
Jesus
Anya
God.
Taylor-Joy. Remember seeing her on Facebook? Okay, let's get social.
I tried,
It's
guys.
so funny.
I think you can do that for so long, but if you do it every time, it becomes so obvious
We tried.
and tedious.
You remember we would like pregame beforehand? Like,
Yeah.
all right, so we're gonna go from this to this, and this is gonna be the last topic, so that it will follow in. Oh God, that was so awful. How long have we come?
And if we didn't have the transition, we'd just keep talking about the one.
We would just go on and on. We'd drag those segments out, man.
I remember when you were waiting for Jesse on one episode. It was one of my first episodes. You were waiting for Jesse to drop the cue,
Yeah.
and he just kept talking, and you're like, "Yeah." So you almost like fed it to him.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, let's get social. Actually, nothing COVID related. So
Oh my
that's
God.
fantastic.
Yes.
So a couple things, as Dan was so eloquently hinting at, Facebook was one of the topics of Let's Get Social, and that is the name change. So big release last week. I think it was on Thursday. Zuckerberg came out and said that he was changing the name of Facebook. So there's a lot of confusion here. Facebook is not changing. Instagram is not changing. WhatsApp is not changing. They'll still operate under the same names that they currently do. They will be a subsidiary of Meta.
Yeah.
So basically, Zuckerberg is changing the corporate name, the corporate structure of his company, Facebook, and renaming it Meta. And the reason behind it was he's stating that the name Facebook, because right now Facebook is his company, and then Facebook owns Instagram and Facebook owns WhatsApp, but they operate under the banner of Facebook.
Yeah.
And he's basically was saying that it's hindering the expansion of his company, and there's no way that Facebook, the name, can accommodate everything that the company is working
It's just
towards in
one
the
thing.
future. You know, it's so strictly known for social media that he wanted to create a subset that would allow for all of the other things that they're working towards. You know, the dude's a weirdo, but he's a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking before the show about Facebook, and single best invention of our time, you know, as far as anything within that realm, social media wise. I mean, the way it's brought people together, the way how quickly it's grown, how much information is exchanged on there. I mean, you can use it for anything from your main source of news to a dating website to starting a business and building a business from. You know, we get majority of our followers and listeners because of Facebook following and stuff. So
we get told what to say, what not to say.
Exactly. You know, someone's blocking us, restricting us, putting us in Facebook jail. But so Meta is for the metaverse, okay, is the big thing. And this is what I want your guys' thoughts on. So Zuckerberg was talking about the metaverse and where he sees his company going, and I think very Ready Player One.
That's exactly.
It's very
100%.
He's trying to build this world, an online world where you are going to eventually interact as a holographic character of yourself. You'll be able to join meetings via online, and your hologram will be sitting within the meeting space with the other person. And
Resident Evil also.
Yeah, it's very different. I mean, he's really pushing this online robotic universe, you know, that I think a lot of us see us going, but I don't really want to think about this far into the future and this advance of it controlling our lives. Look, for me personally, I much prefer this in-person interaction than anything online. And it's the thing that's interesting about this is it's going to heed the ability for crypto.
Yeah.
Which I see. If you're not I'm not a crypto pusher. I have a little bit just because I wanted to play around with it. And
what?
No. I mean, I don't try and sell anybody on that at all. I have it. I bought some, but I don't have a lot of knowledge behind it to the point, because right now crypto isn't anything. It's not backed by anything. It's not a source. But with this universe that Zuckerberg's trying to push, crypto, NFTs and stuff is really going to then hold a place in this universal online world where you could then exchange crypto as a currency. You know, it would kind of make sense. But what are your guys' thoughts on where he's trying to push? You know, where do you think? I don't doubt the guy. I mean, the dude's a genius. You see where things have come, and our technologies is expanding and evolving so quickly nowadays. What do you guys think about the change in name and his plans for the future?
Downfall of humanity.
Yeah.
Seriously, you start putting screens in front of people's faces, and that's all that they know.
Yeah.
It's not, they're not going to be able to think for themselves. They're not going to be able to act for themselves.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'm a firm believer, like, social media does bring out a lot of insight to things, but it has, I guess, disabled life in a way. And how people used to people used to interact.
It's funny because these things were supposed to
clout.
be for more interaction, and now we're more distant than ever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was like an entertainment
people,
thing, and now it's like your life.
Here's the other thing is people are doing things for the attention too, because they know they can reach millions more people on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram. That now, like, I just read a story earlier, a TikTok person, influencer, he purposely sped 100-mile-an-hour chase just for 3 minutes of fame. Just for that. He just, like, that's all. And then all this crap going on in the schools. Like, I think social media has done very negative, more negative than positive in the world. A metaverse, I think, is ridiculous. Keep ready, like you said, Ready Player One. Keep it in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Keep it a fantasy. Don't bring any of that crap to reality. And I was gonna add to, like, the whole metaverse is Nike is preparing for it too. Like, being a sneakerhead.
Yeah.
They're patenting digital versions of their labels, their shoes, so that they can sell t-shirts, shoes, socks, pants
as hologram.
These, yes.
Yeah, they're gonna be NFTs.
Why would I wouldn't give a fuck if I was naked as a hologram.
So that's what they're talking about with this, within this universe, is that you're going to be able to decorate your room, your online room, and you can have like a Nike shoe. It's got to be like a licensed thing. So if you wanted to
buy
have
it.
like if I want to have this shelf of shoes in my virtual room, you'd have to buy that. You'd have to, if you want to have a poster on the wall, just like you'd buy it in real life, you're going to purchase these digital copies of these items. That's where this is turning into this like a real life Sims.
Yeah.
We're going to be interacting with each other and buying things in our digital world to interact with each other. I think it's fucking bogus. It's wild, man.
Okay, so I won't be partaking in this. Just to let you guys know, this is where I draw the line on social media. I mean, I'm not even a TikTok guy, but this is where I definitely draw the line. So to me, I think there's one positive side to this, and it's that for businesses, like as far as business meetings go and things like that, if you've got to be in Hong Kong, and you don't want to take a flight for whatever reason, or the inconvenience of travel, the cost of travel, all that, I think this will be great for something like that. A metaverse is definitely a step up from what's that called?
Zoom.
The Zoom calls. Yeah. Which I feel like they have a long way to go to make Zoom perfect too. So I feel like that's the good thing out of this. The bad thing is everything Dan mentioned, which I echo completely.
I agree.
To me, I feel like too much dependency on the fake world and not enough on the emphasis on the real world is a very dangerous game to play. It's a very dangerous dice roll every single time. And I feel like it's going to lead to a lot of psychological problems. I see it happening with just a lot of people who want to escape real life drama that they themselves have to address to evolve and move on. Otherwise, you won't mature. You won't succeed at certain matters. So to me, I don't feel like it's something you watch in a movie, kind of like what Ryan said. It's something you watch in a movie and you always look at worst case scenario. While Ready Player One, you look at that world and you go, man, that's so cool. And they can play with their favorite video game stars and all that and everything. It's a movie at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But even in the movie, they show you the outside world around it is garbage. It's dead. It's a cautionary tale that, too much emphasis on this and not enough on this is a problem. And that's always the biggest thing that I've pulled back from Ready Player One. Maybe other people haven't, but to me, I'm not so in love with the fantasy. I'm more in love with the reality. And if reality is that bleak, fantasy ain't that important.
Well, and they realize that at the end of the movie, you know, and he said,
right.
We've got to put more focus on our real life and our personal relationships.
To shut it down certain days.
Yeah.
Because it's just a fantasy at the end of the day. It's not real.
Yeah. This plays into what the conversation we had a couple weeks ago with when we were talking about no longer needing to work and having robots that are going to do. I feel the same way about that as I do this. What's the luster of life when it's fake or it's not tangible? I don't want to. This metaverse will probably play well to certain demographics of people. People that are very socially awkward or low confidence and don't want to interact. They're sheltered at home and they don't feel comfortable going out and meeting people because now they can be whoever they want in this world. It doesn't have to look like them, and they can live that vicariously through that. And I can see that being a popular thing, but in the real world, that just takes away from living your life.
Those people are the ones that are taking the phones and putting them in their kids' hands.
Yep.
And those kids know nothing else but what's on that, what games they're playing on that phone, what they're doing on that phone.
Yep.
And if
starts there.
And if I'm big on here, I'm big everywhere. Like I'm an overnight celebrity because I was big on here.
Yeah. Yep.
The problem is there's no stopping it though at this point. I mean, it's evolved so quickly and so far that there's no going back at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, we quickly see how much our world has changed in the last several years with the way we interact, even with just Zoom blowing up because of COVID and how much that is used now. I mean, companies evolving to these work from home formats and it be going from temporary to permanent because it works. We're becoming less and less interactive with each other every day. And it's just going to be, as generations change, it's just going to get worse. that we're the generation that likes the way that we interact, but the younger generation, as Dan said, they're handed these iPads and that's the world that they live within at home. And there's no going outside and playing at the playground or playing in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
That's all that they're going to know. So this change and evolution to them is going to be completely normal.
And it's sad because we'll be old and they'll be running the country at that point.
It's very true. We're going to be in our nursing homes and they'll be visiting us via their hologram. You're not going to even visit with your kids or anything because it's going to all be fucking fake.
Yeah.
But one thing that does look really cool, kind of metaverse, but not, Zuckerberg was talking about adding Grand Theft Auto 5 to Oculus, which would be fucking cool. Oculus is the virtual reality, all immersive video gaming.
Yeah.
That would be fucking cool.
Well, VR is something that definitely needs to be evolved.
Play Grand Theft Auto in person. Like, I think that would be fun as shit.
Yeah.
Virtual reality is one thing
for games.
Yeah.
I feel like gaming, that's something that's like probably 20 years overdue.
So
big time. Like, considering the peak of virtual reality probably took place in the early 90s and really hasn't evolved much since then.
Yeah.
That's something that should have been done years ago.
It's weird because I think it seems like it's been one of those things that is tangible, but like once we've had it, we don't have as much interest in it. It was like, it started with the Wii.
Yeah.
The Wii was like an interactive gaming, and Xbox had the Kinect system where you interacted via motion and stuff. It never really caught on to the hype that I think people thought it was going to be. I bought a Wii and I never played it. I was like, it's cool for like having friends over, maybe like a party game and stuff, but it wasn't as immersive or as fun as you would think. I
just don't think it's enough. That's what I'm saying. So like, it's not immersive enough. You are not the guy playing the game. You're playing the game, but you're not like in the game. You aren't the game.
Yeah.
That's the end game right there.
I haven't done it really yet.
I haven't done a VR.
Yeah. I've seen it. They have it at Kalahari and, like David Buster's and stuff. They have them where you can play them, but I haven't really got into it. I don't know. Like, it seems cool, but
the adult version.
Daniel.
VR.
I'm talking about OnlyFans.
I knew we would get there someday.
Man. That's gonna be us when we're all old. Be living through freaking.
Hey, I'm the single guy. That goes without saying.
Daniel's gonna have some Google cardboards. But yeah, I did see that thing about Grand Theft Auto, which I think that would be pretty cool to be like I think that game would be a cool in Oculus like virtual reality experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the metaverse, it's coming. I don't know how far down the line this is.
Hopefully very long.
I agree. I hope it's nothing that's overnight. It's still young in phase, but if someone's going to do it, it's going to be Zuckerberg, or I see Musk getting on board, or, Bezos or something like that. Was not a segue. I could see them all getting involved with something like this just based on where their companies are starting to evolve to.
I think I could see Elon doing it because of his backing of crypto.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like you said, with this metaverse, that where you need that intangible dollar.
Yep.
Crypto is going to be it. And that's what's going to make it explode.
Imagine that partnership, Elon Musk and
Zuckerberg,
Mark Zuckerberg.
Aliens.
Good
man.
God, man.
He just reminds me of Data from Star Trek. That's all I can think about. His fucking just cold white, like lifeless face, man. He's such a goober.
He's a nerd. Yeah, he really is.
A mega nerd.
I respect the guy, but God, he's awkward. He's very socially awkward.
His life's all been about social media.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a perfect example.
Yeah.
The dude was kind of like a dorky, to himself type of person, and created a social media world to live within, and it's been very successful for him. But
can you believe Facebook started for like colleges only?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before the show started. So like, it's basically a dating app pretty much. Like at its core, it was meant to show you who's single and who's not. Like, they say like walk around with something on your chest that says I'm in a relationship or take it.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get onto Facebook because
you had to wait for your college to be added.
Yeah.
Well, like because it wasn't all colleges at first.
Yeah, I think Kent State was like the first school in the area that had access to Facebook, and I went to Akron, and you got to have an Akron or a Kent State.
Yeah, I had an Akron one.
Email.
Kent one.
Well, Kent State's a party school, so that makes total sense.
Yeah. So for a while there, and I just, when it did release out, I'm like, I'm not getting on that. I'm not getting on that. Just like TikTok, just like Instagram. It took forever for me to get engaged into it.
Mm-hmm.
And now honestly, sometimes I wish I never did.
When did you guys get it? When was your first Facebook?
I'd say probably
I know mine.
Facebook. I mean, I got it as soon as it released, probably 2004. I think is when it came out, 2004 or 5. I went to Akron U. So as soon as that release came out, I mean, because you were hearing talks of Facebook from friends at other schools that had it released or whatever.
So you were in school.
So
that's how you got entwined.
So I was in Akron U. So as soon as that Akron U edu email was acceptable to have an account, I was on there, you know, and it was cool. The same reason that he created it. It was cool because it was exclusive. You could only be on there if you had the email to access it. I mean, it started with Harvard wherever he created it and stuff, but then it started to expand, and it was only college kids that were on there, and there wasn't a lot of bullshit, and there wasn't a ton of people. But it was that transition from MySpace to Facebook. And yeah, I mean, I had one from day one. I've had one since it first released.
Yeah.
It was that slow transition, and you had a MySpace and a Facebook, and then you'd start to find your friends that were on MySpace on Facebook, and then you just kind of slowly transition. I've got a lot of friends on Facebook who I've never met in real life that were just friends of mine on MySpace, and we've continued to remain friends and follow each other's lives onto Facebook all this time later, you know?
Yeah.
And it's been really cool just to see each other evolve and get married and have kids and see where our careers have went. And it's funny because we'll randomly comment on each other's Facebook pages or a messenger. You're just like, oh my God, you remember when we were on each other's top 8s and shit on MySpace?
The top 8 board. Oh my God. You could go as big as top 32.
Yeah, dude. So
oh my God.
It's interesting to see where it's come from. It's wild.
2009.
Is that what how long it took you?
When I got on.
Wow, I thought I was late to the party.
When did you start yours?
07.
Was it after you needed to have a college?
No, well, I was never in college.
So it was after you didn't need it anymore.
Yeah, to me, like when I went to Facebook, I got it because a girl I was seeing at that time, like she was like, "Oh, you got to get a Facebook, and it's the wave of the future and all that." So I was like, oh, "Okay, whatever, sign me up." So she made my profile for me and all that. Took a picture, you know, as a stock photo, pretty much bullshit. Filled out all the random, you know, profile and all that. And I had probably 20 friends for the longest time. Like I don't think I hit 100 friends till like 2010.
I think we just had like a 12-year
like friendship or something.
That was about when I got on it. That's because
so you were probably each other's like one of your first
Ashley's,
friends. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So 2009.
Wow.
Right around this time.
I'm trying to see what my first profile picture was.
My first upload was when I got my house.
Was it?
I think it was maybe it was.
So how long?
I can't remember.
You said yours was 2009?
7.
Yeah.
7 was mine.
God, I'm still going.
You can't do that though. You can't
I'm going. So I clicked on my profile pictures and clicked view all. I'm just gonna scroll to the very first one and see what the date is.
Oh yeah.
But we can keep moving on. I'm gonna look and see where I was at. So as Dan was so well transitioning us to the next topic, it was about Elon Musk, and him and Mark Zuckerberg becoming buddies and taking over the metaverse. But
and we'll all beg him for a job.
December 14th, 2006 was my first profile picture upload.
6. Okay.
I felt like it was sooner than that, but I guess December 14th, 2006.
So
that's true. Cause MySpace was heavy still, like 2005.
October 28th, 2009.
Damn,
exact date.
You were 3 years after I was.
Wow.
And you were 2009?
I was 7.
Oh, 2007. So 6, 7, and 9.
So I thought I was late to the Dan. Like I thought I was like the last one that had one.
Late. Dan's not a big social media guy.
Well, I know I had MySpace. I know the exact years for MySpace because I have an album on my Facebook with MySpace pictures that says the MySpace album 2005 to 2010.
Yeah, dude. I got on my MySpace not long ago and started going through there. It's so bad.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's so poorly done.
Awful music files that never fucking played.
Yeah. I was trying to get like pictures and stuff off there. It's so takes an hour for like one picture to load from your profile.
I remember I was trying a Herbalife business.
I remember that.
And I wasn't on Facebook, so I was doing my advertising and I created a page on MySpace for Herbalife. That was a waste.
I remember that.
Yeah, we did a wrestling page when I was a pro wrestler. We did a page on MySpace. It never ran very well, and we all just decided, fuck it, we're all going to pitch in so much money for each year and we're going to buy an actual website.
Yeah. So Elon Musk, is out to save the world and cure world hunger, apparently. Well, UN hunger. So on the Twitter for the United Nations, they apparently posted something along the lines of, we're in we're starving, everyone is starving. If we don't get X amount of dollars and this amount of time soon, we literally have all the people that are going to starve to death. And Elon got on there and commented something along the lines of, prove to me how the funds will be allocated and I will fund it. I will sell Tesla stock and I will pay you the 5 billion. I didn't put down the amount. I think it was like something like
nine. I think it was
something
9
billion.
billion.
Yeah,
$9
like
billion.
$9 billion
Or 6 billion. I don't know.
Somewhere between
It's a lot
$5
of
and $10
dough.
billion. Either way, the dude said, I'll sell Tesla stock right now. If the UN can prove to me how the funds are going to be used, I'll do it. I'll give you guys the money and we'll save these people. What are your guys' thoughts on this? I mean, sure, he's got the means, but do you think that it's the right place? Do you think it's something that he should do? Not that he feels obligated to do, but that he should take on.
It's not his place at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's, if we're getting down to it, it's not his place at all. He doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, people always look at these rich people saying that they have a responsibility to save others. They don't have a responsibility to do shit. They have their money, and it's their money. They've earned that money. He has no responsibility to do that. If he does it, hey, more power to him, man. Like he stood by his word and he did it. So that's the most he's going to get out of this, is that he'll have the respective people going like, well, that's a meaningful billionaire right there. Yeah. But what does our opinion mean to a guy who fucking could open and close us and sell us without fucking remorse?
So I think, did he get called out in any tweets? Like, oh, this guy's got $300 billion or $600 billion.
That's usually how it goes.
Not that I'm aware.
And then he's like, okay, you know what? I'll help you. I'll give you $6 billion of my money, but you have to. It's almost like you're going to allocate. I'm challenging you to allocate your funds that you get appropriately.
Yeah.
Before I give you that money, and if you don't do it, you better pay me that shit back.
I don't know if he got called out. All that I saw was that he tweeted, he responded to their tweet about it, and he said, look, if you can tell me how the money's being used, I'll fund it. I will pay you guys the money that you need if it's truly going to save this hunger crisis.
I promise you, $6 billion ain't gonna do it.
No,
I think it was like 100,000 some people or something that was going to go towards.
In the the predicament that we're in with COVID and jobs and this and that, you're not going to find $6 billion worth of food.
No,
you can't find, it's not there.
Just like 75 grand is not going to buy a flailing newspaper, save them from the depths of despair.
So yeah, I don't think it's not his place. He doesn't have to do it.
No, I don't think,
and I don't think that the UN World Hunger Business Company people, I don't know what they're called, I don't think they're going to be able to give him a breakdown of where that $6 billion is going to go.
Does he get to write that off?
So here, yeah, of course he does. But here's so I looked it up. David Beasley, the director of the UN's World Food Program, told CNN that it was time for the ultra wealthy to step up now on a one-time basis.
Blow me.
In order to help 42 million people that are literally going to die if we don't reach them. He specifically mentioned Musk and Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, the two richest men in the world. So you are right. He was called out because I thought it would be odd for him to offer to help. Because here's my thing. I was going to play devil's advocate. We got plenty of starving people here. If he's going to donate $6 billion to solve hunger, help your own country. We've talked about this. We continue to give and give and give outside, but we don't solve anything here. I'm not saying let them starve and die, but it would be odd for him just to offer to help them. But apparently, someone from the UN specifically asked them or said that they should aid because they have so much money.
Okay.
I was going to say something really stupid.
I'll stop you. Kind of a similar comparison that I was thinking about the whole time you're reading this.
6 billion is the number.
6 billion. Okay, that's still a shit ton of money. Was a couple years ago, right before Amazon bought the rights for the property of Rolling Acres. And everybody was like tagging LeBron James in Beacon Journal posts saying like, why isn't LeBron buy the property or anything like this? I'm like, why would he? What interest would he have?
Like, you know what's crazy? So if you think about it, so 6 billion, that's 2% of his net worth. $6 billion is 2%. That is insane.
But the thing is, he's not required to do any of this.
Absolutely not. It's just crazy to think about how much money he has.
Yeah.
2% of his wealth is $6 billion.
Yeah.
God damn.
I'm surprised it's not less.
Jeez.
So I was going to say, this is the dumb thing that I was going to say. Knowing who Elon Musk is.
Get that button ready.
I'm like, no, it's not anything bad, but it's just, I was like, why don't he invest that money? That's $6 billion into like fuel reserves and stuff like that, because these gas prices are absolutely horrendous.
Because he's fighting for electric cars.
I know, that's why I'm saying I was so
Billy.
stupid of me to almost want to say that. Well, I did say it, but
This freaking guy.
Now I know what you meant by stupid. A different kind, not
Yeah.
not an offensive stupid,
not inappropriate,
but a self-deprecating
but just
stupid.
oh my goodness.
so yeah, he doesn't need to help anybody.
It makes more sense now. I didn't see the thing about him being called out.
I thought that he got
makes
called
way
out,
more sense.
but
So stupid.
Yeah, I don't foresee that man just randomly saying, I'm going to give the UN $6 billion. It makes sense that someone called. I wonder if Jeff Bezos said anything. Probably not.
I'd
Fuck you guys.
Here's an idea. Fucking create jobs and fucking go get that $6 billion.
Bezos is like, well, there's food on my site that you can order and
go on
deliver.
Amazon. Bezos said, you know what?
You'll get it next day.
He said, I'll give you guys Prime for free. Go on and order, and I'll make sure it's there to you with no extra charge. Wild though. It's. I mean, not that he owes anything, but it's crazy to think that one man's wealth could save all those people. Feed all those people. That's just wild to just think about the wealth that man has earned. I mean, he's earned it all. It's not anything given to him. It's all from his fucking head, his brain.
We all fucking pay taxes, right? How about you designate the taxes that we pay as American citizens
to the UN?
No.
I was about to say, that's going to go over.
Certain.
Well,
designate it a certain direction. Avoid the bolt that we will get into it in a topic a little bit later. But
God, your transitions are just stunning tonight.
It's not Bezos' fault. It's not Elon Musk's fault. It's not up to them.
I mean, what an arrogant
Our
thing
government
for that guy to
fixed.
say.
I agree. You're in charge. You fucking step up and do it. Yeah.
But again, it's not our place. It's the UN. Why is it our place to feed them when we've got plenty of starving?
Well, the UN's
people
just
here?
saying what they're saying because the US is back into their the environmental.
Oh yeah,
whatever
the summit, climate summit, whatever.
And what you just said, that's the libertarian in me. I've always said that, and I've always said no wars unless they bring it to our doorstep.
Yeah.
That's the libertarian in me. It's that look, you've got your problems, we've got ours. You handle your problems, we'll handle ours. Yeah. That's the way it goes.
I'm all for helping other people, but you have to take care of yourself first. Otherwise, you can't help other people.
Mm-hmm.
And if we continuously focus outside, we see the place that we're in here. Our country is not in a good position. We're divided as a society. We're starving. We've got plenty of homeless. We're at war. People are without jobs. We can't get people to fucking work. I mean, we've got enough to focus on here. And our attention has been outside of our walls for so long that it's just continuously getting worse.
But we'll help whoever needs it.
Have you guys been to the grocery store? Have you seen the prices on meat? On everything?
Everything's expensive, man.
We're going to starve because we can't afford to eat because they keep jacking these prices up.
Well, so, and that's a whole nother argument in itself. Some people are going to say it's because of the wage increases, but I think a lot of it's
proven defeated.
It's supply and demand at this point. Supply is so low because we don't have people to work to deliver the food. We don't have people producing the food, and there's being stuff. We're still trying to recoup from the loss of funds from COVID and stuff. It was only natural prices were going to grow up. I don't think they sustain But I'm not shocked by any means.
Dude, ribeye was like $40 for 3 steaks.
It's expensive, man.
I believe it.
Yeah, I was at Acme not long ago, and I was picking out a couple items that I get consistently, and I was like, this is literally twice the cost than what I normally pay. You know, you can see my grocery bill is way more than what I buy the same shit. I know what I pay every week, and it was like, I think I'll go to the grocery store every Sunday and I get the same kind of restock items that I eat for lunch and snacks and stuff. Spend about $50.
Yeah.
I went before vacation, like a week before vacation. I think I spent $77 for the same grouping of items.
Yep.
$25 more is a lot of money.
Which is also why fast food lines are now doubled. And, you know, every time you go to fast food, it's like there's more people in there because it's cheaper to go get a fast food dinner than it is to make it.
It has always been that way. Even when prices were normal, it's always been cheaper to eat out because we're eating poor quality food. That's why we're the highest obesity in the world, because
it's going to get worse.
People are lazy. It comes down to a lot of things. We're lazy and we work so much. The people that do work, we work so much in this country that people don't have time to want to go home after working a 14-hour day to cook a dinner.
Yep.
You know, so people go to the fast food place and you eat, and it's quick. It's a shame that eating healthy has always been so expensive. You know, it's wild that we can't make it within reasonable cost,
and sometimes worse for you too.
Yeah.
Like, oddly enough, like a salad will, you know, have more calories in it than a fucking burger will.
It's wild.
That's made terribly wrong.
And like, I bought a bunch of bananas on Sunday. They're browning like really bad right now already. Like,
that makes some banana bread.
I will. That's what I'm going to end up doing. But the quality of the food that we're buying in the grocery stores, because it's taking longer to get here to the stores for us to buy.
Yep.
And I mean, yeah, it's the jobs.
We're going to hit rock bottom soon. I mean, we can only sustain this model for so long.
What's rock bottom?
Exactly.
I think we're going to get into an economic crisis very soon.
But what does that involve to you?
The dollar is going to deteriorate. The worth of the dollar is going to drop. We're going to have businesses shutting down. You know, you can only sustain this business model for so long before it collapses. I mean, you already see businesses closing their doors because they can't stay open due to no employment.
That's why I said we're not far off anyway.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, we're in a bad place. We're going to be in another economic crisis. You know?
I don't know that you call it a business model right now, because it's something that we've never dealt with.
Yeah.
It's unprecedented.
There's not a book that will tell you how to manage, how to make it through times that we're dealing with right now. There's nothing.
Nope.
We're all learning on the fly, call offs, people quitting left and right from their jobs.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. But
as far as business model, it's a matter, like, what I mean is just the way that we continue to, the reasons you left your company.
Overworked.
You left because of being overworked, underappreciated. Well, that has to change. And that's what these businesses are going to need to evolve to. Is we're in a position now where the employees have taken over power. We have the power at this point to demand right wages, to demand a work schedule that seems fit and appealing, and have a work-life balance. But companies are so desperate right now that they're pretty much willing to accommodate what they can to get people on. Now, that's not sustainable for the long term, but it could hopefully over a period of time change the way that things continue to happen in the future.
Yeah.
The $15, $16, $20 an hour that places are offering, that's not going to last. You know, you can't sustain that for so long without an increase across the board in, wages for everybody, or for increase in cost of goods. But I think it's going to get them through until things start to try and level out. COVID is not going to stop in the next 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, COVID itself might, but the long-standing things that are going to come from it is going to take another couple of years before things start to level out.
Oh yeah.
We got a long road ahead of us,
I think it'll definitely outlast COVID as a whole.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That'll be long gone.
As long as COVID itself is still present, you're going to have another year to 2 years after that of lingering effects while places start to recoup from the effect that COVID had on them. That's just how it's going to work.
So here's the workforce out there right now. They're not afraid. They're not afraid of they're not afraid of losing their job because they know that there's stuff out there that they could do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why I walked away from my job, because I know that there's other opportunities out there. There's also things to get me by until I find that perfect job that I'm looking for, that will respect me, that will pay me what I feel I deserve,
Yeah.
that will respect my work-life balance. These home delivery, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Amazon Flex, Instacart, those are some of those that I signed up for to do, but those jobs are there. So these employees that in the jobs that they're in, a lot of these entry-level positions, because those entry-level positions are what runs those stores.
Yeah.
You need them, but if they don't want to work that day, they're calling off.
Yep.
The whole store's getting backed up because they can't get stock, they can't get checked out. But they know that at the end of the day, they don't need that job. There's other things that they can go see. And I think that's the problem. They're not afraid they're afraid to work in a way.
Yeah.
They're not afraid of consequences.
I don't think it's afraid to work. I think people are more apt right now that if they're unhappy, they're just quitting because they know they can go and I could quit my job today and have a new job tomorrow.
Yeah.
So people are getting to the point where if they're getting to be overstressed, overworked, unhappy, they're just quitting. Whereas before, people were so worried about the job market being so tight and so hard to get a job, people would stay in their jobs unhappy because they needed to work.
Yep.
People aren't doing that now. People are saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm not happy, I quit, and they're moving on.
So part of that is, and I've seen it from my side, the people that weren't unhappy are now unhappy because the people that left is causing more of a heavier workload for them.
We got that big time. Yeah.
But like I didn't hate my job the entire time I was there.
Mhm.
I enjoyed it a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But once like working as a manager in this environment is very difficult because of those employees that do not respect the work and call off, don't show up, quit. Like it's not I don't know if some of it's about stress. I think it's about the generation that doesn't want to work.
Yeah.
Everything's have been handed to them. They don't feel like they should be grinding like we all used to.
Yeah.
At the start, we had 2-3 jobs at one time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
These guys, one job, they show up for a day. This isn't for me.
Yep.
And they quit. No notice. They just walk off. Still have work to do that day. Still have work to do the rest of the week.
Mm-hmm.
They're not waiting until Friday or Saturday to quit. They're quitting on Monday.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I've always compared it to, like, since this whole situation is surmised, like I've always compared it to NFL contract talks. So like you always want to be the first team that signs your quarterback, to that new deal. You damn sure don't want to be the last, because the first team pays the cheapest. The first team looks the best for being the one that gave that deal right out of the bat. They said, we trust our quarterback. We believe in our quarterback. Here's the deal he deserves. As of this moment, it is the most lucrative contract in the NFL. But then that second deal comes along, and it doesn't matter if it's from Aaron Rodgers and then it goes to Joe Flacco after it. We know Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback, but Joe Flacco is going to make more money. Why? Because he's second in line. Then it goes to third, and he's going to make more money, and fourth's going to. When this whole thing happened, you want to get in on the front line of this thing. And that's what I'm curious about. Who were the first companies that really said, you know what, we better get on board with this whole self-worth thing, or we're going to be paying a lot of money, more than we would pay if we didn't get in right away.
The hard part about that is that, and that's going to be the long-standing and ever-evolving aspect of this, is it's hard to I think even the companies that are trying to make the change, it's hard to evolve because not every business can sustain the same amount of expense. So even if you want to treat your employees fantastic, you might not be able to afford what business Z can pay. So you're going to have people that are walking out because they're going to do the same job for $6 an hour more than what you can offer them, even if you're trying the best you can. I mean, you're going to run into the position of where you're going to have to shut down because we have no staffing, or we're going to shut down because we're paying our people too much and we can't pay our bills.
So what's the compromise between them?
That's what I'm saying, though. That's the long standing effects of COVID that's going to go on for several years. Businesses aren't there's businesses that are not going to make it through this. Sadly, there's no win across the board when it comes to the way that you make this change.
But do you think the self-worth thing, do you think that was a COVID thing, or do you think that was a generational thing? To me, I kind of think it was a generational thing.
As far as the walkouts,
as you even said yourself, to me, this next generation wasn't like ours where we go, hey, we got a job, we got to be there regardless.
I think COVID heated the path to this happening. So what happened was
it fast tracked it for sure.
Yeah, you had all these. You ran into situations with COVID happening where people ended up without work, not by choice, but because of their businesses, either having to lay people off or changing their business structure, whatever it is. Then you get people that had off 16 months, 18 months from home, still maintaining pay, making as much as they were making and working.
Right. Good point.
And that led to,
right,
I'm so much happier now. I'm not going to work. I'm a happy person. I don't want to go back to work knowing I was miserable every day. So I'm going to wait till I find a job that I'm happy. And what's happening is they're interviewing for job X and they're going to work and they're not happy. And they're like, fuck this. I was happier before. And they're quitting and they're looking for another job. People are going.
And if they can do it, why can't I?
Exactly.
Right.
So
right.
I think that just kind of was the catalyst for it. And it just kind of opened people's eyes to the fact of how unhappy they were. There was never another real time in our life where we had the ability to not work and have unemployment to the level that you could still live your life. And the things that were implemented during COVID allowed for people to really open their eyes and see their level of unhappiness. For me, I realized I was unhappy. I didn't go without a job. I just switched jobs, but it was a lot to the point that Dan made of the trickle effect. I still work for the same company I worked for previous, but I found a new job that realigned with my level of happiness because that trickle effect of people people were fed up with the way customers were treating them. So they were quitting. People were fed up with the extra workload because of being short staffed. So people were quitting. And that just was a domino effect to the people above them, because who has to manage the extra workload when people below you quit? The management.
Yeah, well.
So Dan was a manager. Dan managed a group of people. I managed a group of people. When my team below me got diminished, that was just means more work for me to allocate to the people that were still there, and then they're unhappy. And it was just
if they can't get it completed, you have to complete it on top of everything else that you have in your duties.
Like, which I think Dan can probably attest to, and which is why I don't think you have any ill will towards where you left. I didn't leave. I mean, I stayed with the company, so it wasn't that I didn't like the company. There's only so much they can do. I mean, what do you, to what point do you start to allocate it? This is where I talked about a couple weeks ago. It was a big topic on here. And I said where employers need to start getting behind their employees and putting them first above the customer. We had a big conversation about employees not having to take shit from customers anymore. The customer isn't always right was the topic we were having. And I think one of the biggest aspects that would garner a lot of respect from employees outside of more money is that truly feeling supported by their employer.
Yeah.
And that just goes to the point of
that's worth nothing. Like that costs nothing.
Exactly. Look, if we're short staffed today, we're going to close down. We're going to operate on a different, in my previous job role, we did this. If we were in a situation where we were really short staffed for that day, we would have different business models and different ways we would operate specific to that day to accommodate for less staff. And the company was willing to make that change to acclimate. Now, the problem is these bigger corporations, places like where Dan worked, is they are so concerned about making the customer happy that the employees are getting shit all over because they say, we can't afford to lose contract X to this giant retailer. We need to have our product there. So you're just gonna have to figure it out. When really what the company should be doing is saying, you know what? You're in the same boat we are. I know you're short staffed because of COVID. I know your employees are overworked. So are mine. It's going to take us a couple extra days, and you're just going to have to be okay with it, because you know what? They're going to have to sell someone's product. And if all these companies started to acclimate to this, it could make a difference. Companies don't have to pay more money to make their employees happy. They just need to treat them with respect and show them that they care and that they matter more than just the top dollar, the bottom line.
I think it's a trickle down effect that like the very, very top head honcho has to respect the next guy and the next guy and the next guy and the next guy for that to work. Like that's the reason I feel like that's disrespect that starts all the way at the top of the mountain.
I agree. And that's where I was saying is that the employees now are taking back the power.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line people are the most important, and the people at the top are going to start to have to realize that, because without the people on the front line, without those people at Wendy's in the drive-through serving, big CEO of Wendy's ain't making nothing because there's nobody there to serve them food. And when you have to have your restaurant closed and you're still sitting there paying rent and paying for all that food that's in there and nobody's buying it, it's hitting someone's pocket.
That lava moves uphill, man. Trust me.
And that's where I think that's where we're at now. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the money, but
the respect.
It's the respect, and the employees hold the power now.
Yep.
That's going to continue for the foreseeable future. And the problem with it is they're offering all this extra money to get people on board. They're offering signing bonuses, but the rollover effect of that is the people that were already working there. Yeah. So, I'm working there at $15 an hour, and now you're hiring on someone brand new that's going to make as much as me or more than me. And I've been there for 10 or 15 years, and it's a slap in the face. Like, you have to be able to balance out the way that you're treating your staff. And I don't know how that works. I don't have the answer. I don't think many people do, which is why we are where we are, but we have to figure it out.
And another big problem is if money is the given answer to all of this over respect, what's going to happen is, as you said, with all these businesses closing, more small than anything, certainly the small will be the first ones that go. So what that's going to leave is those conglomerates, they're still alive. So they're in turn now the only jobs you have left are those big jobs where disrespect started in the first place, because they can outspend, they can do whatever it takes. They can use their wallet to get employees, and they grab them. And then once they've got them, it's back to starting disrespect again. It's, well, we paid you $16 an hour, so now we can treat you however we want.
It's going to be a fine line. We're going to be the thing what's going to happen. The reckoning moment is going to come, and these employees that are job bouncing, job to job, trying to find the right fit, trying to find what makes them happy. Eventually, this drought is going to end, and people are going to be stuck without. You're going to really have to find the fine line and the gamble to finding the right fit for you, because eventually the right fit's not going to be there anymore. I mean, my job, my new job role, I took on in March, and we've been hiring since. We just finally cut it off. We're done. Like we've met our quota. We're fully staffed to their point, so it's starting to happen. It's slowly, I think, going to start realigning itself, but we're in a bad place, and we got to figure out what level of involvement we get from the government. Do they do tax breaks for these companies because they're paying more money out, and they're taking the loss? There's got to be something that's going to be able to aid in these companies that are losing money because of having to try and facilitate for the short staff that they have.
As I said on this show, I said long before any of these, improvements or self-evaluations were going on, to me, I feel like the biggest break that the government could have done in stepping in and helping out was those people that stand by their jobs and the ones that are working through COVID, the essential workers, if you will. Stop giving them $1,000 here and there. Start giving them tax breaks here and there. Like, there has to be a reason why they're working more than the people who aren't. There has to be an advantage for them that there's not for the people sitting at home and going like, well, I can make money at home sitting on my ass. I'm going to do this.
It's a hot take, but I don't understand why in this country, our model has been to reward those who don't do instead of the ones that do.
That's not a hot take. That's fucking reality.
I don't get it. I don't understand. There's a fine line between can't and not willing to do. And it blows my mind that we continue to operate in a fashion where we would rather champion those who are willing to participate and not participate at all and offer nothing than to give or help the ones that want to be contributing members of society. I talked about it when we had our conversation around Social Security and how we should be willing to allocate the difference in income to those that are willing to work rather than it being all or nothing. You know, you can either work and full time and lose all of your benefits where you could make more from not working, or why don't we allow that person that wants to work and supplement the difference in their income? And if we're paying them $1,500 a month to not work and they want to work, they want to participate in society and do something for themselves, but unfortunately they can't find a job that meets the wage within a livable wage for them, and they're earning $1,200 a month.
Stupid.
Why not give them the $300 a month, supplement the difference? They're still saving $1,200 a month.
It's completely stupid.
But no, we're going to say, no, you can do all or nothing. I don't understand that. Help the people that want to help themselves and stop just giving people handouts.
Yeah.
Drives me insane.
And I stepped away knowing that I'm not collecting unemployment. I can't, because I stepped away. I didn't get fired in my role. You find and see like those triggers that are red flags of people that are trying to get fired so that they can collect it.
But you have to be let go. You can't get unemployment if you get fired. You have to be let go.
I thought you can get it if you get fired.
If you get fired,
if you're
you
fired
can,
for just cause, your company can fight it.
They will. Yes,
your company
absolutely.
can fight it. So if you're
but
fired,
they don't know that. Like,
those
that are
most won't pursue it though. I would think. You think
they
so?
sure will. My
They
job
will.
does.
Really?
I had someone that we fired for complete just cause, had been written up multiple times, had been given dozens of opportunities to correct themselves, and they continue to choose to oppose.
That's some personal shit.
They got fired and we fought it, and they did not get any unemployment because they were fired for just cause.
God damn, it doesn't even come out of their pocket and they're going to pursue it even further.
The company as a whole, they're not, I mean, they're because their quota goes up by the amount of unemployment they have to pay out. You pay an unemployment tax. So if you're paying out to, if you're paying out to employees who shouldn't be getting it because they purposely got fired, company ain't gonna pay it. We already talked about
off the hook for
well, then what's to say they couldn't fight that for everybody then, even if it wasn't justifiable cause, even if just like a guy didn't try to get fired but he got released anyway, like he got laid off.
So it's only if you're fired. If you're laid off, you get it. There's no fighting it. If you're laid off due to
performance
performance
of the company, downsizing, stuff like that.
The company is in they can't no longer sustain your employment and you're let go. Doesn't matter. But when you're terminated, they'll fight it. They will fight you trying to get unemployment. Yeah.
So I would never reach for it anyway. It's a moral thing for me.
You got to think that if that were the case, people just get fired all the time, not have to work, and just continuously get unemployment. You have to be let go of your job. You know, they eliminated your position and you were let go. You get a severance and then you collect unemployment. Supposedly, this new unemployment program is supposed to be a lot more strict. You actually, if you have the system that you register through is different, and if you get offered a job and you continuously turn them down, they will eliminate your unemployment, and the term in which you can collect has been shortened. So they're changing it to try and force people to stop taking advantage of the system. But to Dan's point, you can see people will try and push the envelope thinking I'm going to get a free ride. The company will fight you and they'll win because they've got the money to fight it and you don't.
This whole thing was just handled so poorly, man.
Yeah,
like,
everything.
Right. The working class, the working citizens got screwed in this whole thing.
Yeah. And we were made to feel bad because of feeling that way. Like, well, why weren't we rewarded for working? Well, we couldn't. We lost. We were given the guilt trip for. I'm like, look, you're still collecting on unemployment. Yeah. I get that, but if someone's getting a bonus, shouldn't it be the people that are still going to work through all of the bullshit and having to deal with all of the nonsense that comes with being short-staffed and not having anybody there? Being customer facing. I've been customer facing my entire life. I got my first job at 15. I've never not worked directly face to face with the public until my most current job that I've been doing for 6 months. The last year and a half of doing it during COVID drew me to the end. I couldn't do it anymore.
Obviously.
People were completely awful. I mean, just no respect, don't care. And that's the same right now with the way people are treating, the service industry. People go out and are just awful to these people. You're going to go out to eat. No, you're going to go out to eat. And it's going to take 2 hours.
Yep.
And if you're
Right.
not okay with that, don't fucking go. You got 2 people running the whole restaurant.
You wanted to talk about unpopular opinions. So I'm the one guy who sticks up for fast food workers getting more money. So as far as it goes, all you have to do is look online, look up YouTube, go to that site and look fire in the hole videos.
Yeah.
And if you've ever had this done to you at your job, then I'll shut the hell up right now. But it only happens in food service, and that's getting drinks thrown at you, getting fucking food thrown at you, you know, all this shit where somebody's just trying to work and earn their wage, and now they've got to fucking go and clean off their shirt that's got a fucking milkshake all over it.
Yep.
Like, look, if you don't want them making that much money, then stop fucking treating them like garbage.
Well, the best thing about that came out of that, and it's the memes that I'm sure you guys have seen, is that it's something along the lines of, you guys said if you wanted to make a livable wage, then don't work in fast food and find a real job. And then it's like, well, yeah, now they did, and now you're complaining because you have nobody to serve your fast food. I'm
right.
like, well, they went and got a real job. They
But
paid them real money.
That's why they're bitching.
So
though.
get over it.
Yeah.
You know, like
that's why they're bitching, because they want their cheeseburger.
Yep. You know what? That's just the entitlement. I can't. There's one thing that I there's not many things I hate more, and that's entitled people, or people that feel entitled. I'm like, you're no better than that person that's at the fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
You know what? You need a service from them, and you're paying for it. So fucking get in line and wait. And if you can't, then go home and fucking cook it yourself.
Yeah,
bitch.
take your ass home, cook your own burger.
You know, I fucking hate people like that. But that's what drew me to get out of what I was doing. You know, it was the awful people, and just people that just felt that they could do whatever they wanted. And that's where you have to have your companies that are willing to step in.
Yeah.
And say, I did it for my team. I just wish that it was pushed more from the above. You know, I didn't allow that. If people came in and act that way, I told them they could leave. I said, we're not going to help you. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't owe you anything. And you're definitely not going to talk to me or my staff that way. And I would ask them to leave.
Yeah.
They're like, whoa, I'm calling your, here's my boss's
the
number. Please, if you want to do a joint call, I'll call him for you right now. I don't care, because I know that I'm going to be supported, because we won't accept that.
I always love that threat. I'm like, oh yeah, who do you think is going to listen to? The guy that works his ass off for you, or you're fucking dumbass?
I need to talk to your manager. Yeah, that's me. How can I help you? You can still leave, as I told you. Thank you. Bye. That was always my favorite thing. Anyhow, enough of that tangent and rant. We could go all day about the state of that.
My
nonsense.
bad.
No, I love that conversation, but it never ends. I feel like we can never win that one. I don't even really care about these other things. Oh, Rust. So here's something that this could have gone in Hollywood, but I kind of wanted to talk about it in
I think it's a social issue.
That's social, just because of the gun issues behind it. So on the set of Rust, it was the art director of art, was shot and killed with a prop gun. And now what's going around is the dispute on, who's to blame.
Alec
Baldwin.
Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin that was the one that did it, right?
Yep.
So was it Alec Baldwin's fault? Was it the prop person's fault? There's someone called the head of arms or something that's supposed to be the inspector of any kind of gun.
He's like
that.
The overseer or the educator, if you will.
Yeah. So it's there's this big debacle going on online right now on it's Alec Baldwin's fault or who to blame. And I kind of am at this thing where, much like every other argument, you're always going to find the two parties that want to find their own agenda in it. So I've got all these there. You got the gun people who are coming out and saying, well, look at this guy that's anti-gun, and then he goes and shoots someone or someone that's whatever. And they're all trying to put the blame on Alec Baldwin. They're trying to say, well, if you've got a gun, you should be checking it. That's your job. But there's literally someone that's supposed to do that for you. Who do you guys think is to blame before I go any further? I'm curious.
Me or you?
Go for it.
The prop guy.
I agree. The prop guy.
Okay, I agree.
But
Before I push too far, I want to see if we were all on the same page.
Have you guys heard the conspiracy theories around this?
No.
Oh my God.
Oh no. Let's get to that in a second. Let
me just explain real quick why the prop guy.
No, I agree.
So not only are they in charge of the model that they use for the movie itself, they have to test that out frequently beforehand.
Absolutely.
That is in their contract to do that.
Yep.
So I don't know what's going to happen as a result of all this. To me, though, I feel like the prop guy might be facing jail time.
Yeah. So it was a girl, a 22-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
This was her first movie on her own. Her dad is a famous prop person.
You said this is her first movie?
This is the first movie she's worked on her own. So, and
That's
she
a
was
big
hesitant.
position.
She was hesitant to take it. She'd done like assistant before, she learned from her dad.
Okay.
She was an assistant previous as a prop person on the one before. So it's a young girl. And I think she's 22.
Elena Hutchins.
Yeah. So she took on this job. And so anyways, what's coming out now is who's to blame. And then she came out and she's saying, she's blaming what we've talked about in the past with the strikes.
Yeah.
Overworked, too many hours. The studio wasn't keeping accountable what they were working and giving them to a place to sleep
and strike,
this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then people are saying that it's Baldwin's fault because if you have a gun in your hand, you're to check it. You should know it's empty. I'm like, this isn't a real gun. I mean, it's a real gun, but this isn't him handling a firearm of his own that, yes, you absolutely check the chamber and make sure it's empty. You don't point it at somebody. You don't flag someone with it. This is on a movie set where you have someone whose sole job is responsible for checking that gun.
It's her job,
making
to check
sure
it,
that
his.
it's safe.
Yeah.
He's not going to check that gun every time he's on set to make sure it's safe.
Not his job
he's
to.
Not trained in that.
It's not his job to.
Exactly.
It's they hand you that and they go, okay, take 3.
Exactly. You got these gun nuts that are out here just trying to use it to their agenda to say, hey, he should have done this, this, and this. It's not on him. And someone's going to be in trouble because there was a live round.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not supposed to be live rounds on set.
Did you hear why there was loud?
Last I read, they said they didn't know.
I want to know.
They were practice shooting in between takes just to pass time. So they had targets set up that they were shooting at.
There's a big mistake right there.
Somebody's going down big for that. Huge. I mean, that's ridiculous.
And they didn't check.
You're not allowed to. You're not supposed to have live rounds on set.
Under no circumstances.
Right.
That it always has to be a blank at the most. They use something else, what's called I think it's called like an empty gap or something like that. But a blank nonetheless. Like you have to use that. Under no circumstance, whoever put that bullet in, you are now going to jail. That, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, man. It's a big mess. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel bad
for sure.
It's an awful situation. I mean, you got to think regardless of who they put the blame on or who they hold accountable, Baldwin's got to live with the fact that he shot and killed someone point blank in the face.
Yep. So was he testing?
So they were testing it. They were doing a test shot before. So he was on set. The shot was a close up of him aiming the gun down camera. He wasn't not supposed to be pointing at them. That was the shot that they were doing. It was a front facing camera in your face of him pointing the gun, and he pulled the trigger and there was a bullet in it and it fucking shot the person.
So there's somebody that was on set. I don't know if we should talk about the conspiracy theory.
No,
on here. I think it's
unfair.
I think it's unfair.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll talk about it after.
But anyways, it's an awful situation. I just feel bad for all parties involved, and for him to have to. He's gonna live with that. I mean, that's not something you usually just bounce back from. I mean, you killed someone, regardless accident or not. You shot and killed someone.
And the thing is, justifiably or not, like it's not justifiable in my minds. But however people view this, like if it's his fault or not, it's going to follow him everywhere. So to me, it's like no matter what job he takes from now on, he's always going to be known as that guy, and that's so unfair to him.
Yeah,
it's very, very sad. We'll talk about more later on. Last thing I have we're talking about allocation of funds in our government. We'll close this shop up. And how we're going to spend money, or how we should spend money and spend it on the UN. My little brother sent me this, and at first I was like, this got to be like Sapphire, but we actually approved the Department of Homeland Defense or Homeland Security approved the building of a private fence.
Oh, I've heard
around
this.
Joe Biden's vacation home.
I've been trying to debunk this.
To the tune of $500,000. We're going to spend $500,000 to build a fence around his private residence when he lives in the White House. Why are we spending our money on that? And who approved that?
And why isn't Biden paying for it out of his own pocket?
So I agree with Dan on that, but I can tell you why we're getting it in the first place.
Some bullshit excuse about his safety when he's not in the White House.
Did you see what happened in January by any chance?
No.
January 6th. You didn't see what happened on January 6th?
At the Capitol?
Yeah.
Well, he shouldn't be at his fucking own house. He's the president. He should be in the White House. If it's a private resident, you know damn well. Look,
I got to
you know I ain't
on
on either side of this, and I could care less about either of them. But you know damn well that if Trump was trying to build a fucking private fence around his condo, people would be up in arms.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why the fuck are we funding a $500,000 fence to be built around his beach house? That's so the things we spend our money on.
I don't know. I think
it's so bogus.
He should be. Right. I would hope that he's been asked about this. Like, you know, the press have a responsibility to kind of dig this out of him.
They're going to say it's for his security. So when he's there, because I'm sure the president needs time off too. So when he's there, he feels secure.
No, I can't debunk this. So.
Pay it yourself.
Pay for it yourself.
Bro, it's just wild.
If you don't feel safe, you shouldn't have ran for president.
You're already
you accept that responsibility. You got the Secret Service protecting you.
Yep. You already are.
You need a Mexico fence to protect your beach house. Are you going to be able to see?
But
like,
I guess Trump built a wall, so Biden gets a fence.
Yeah, there you go.
Fair, right?
It's ridiculous.
And we're going to get Mexico to pay for it.
That
well,
$500,000. That $500,000 could go into the Social Security
UN fund.
Yeah, it's not like we're having like a big fucking world tearing down going on right now or anything, you know, that where we could use that money for something important.
Politics is dumb.
We're fine.
I hate politics.
Keep voting the same two parties, ladies and gentlemen.
We got Trump 2024, so
not even.
And he'll fund his own wall around his fucking house.
Sad thing is, after all this shit, it doesn't matter if it's Joe's fault or not. It reflects on him. It's his world during those 4 years. We've talked about this before. So people are going to look, if those are the two options on the bill, I truly feel Trump will get back in.
His rating's awful right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't done anything to really impress anybody. He's fucking Sleepy Joe. Anyways, I think that's all we got. No, I lied. Chris has got one more thing.
I just want to say something. One small thing. I'm now 2 episodes shy of Jesse Young. So
Jesse Young's only got 2 more weeks to leave.
That's all
so
right.
You might come back. You might just be head to head.
It's all right. Everybody knows he's not coming back anyway.
Don't say that.
So
I'll be very hurt.
Browns keep losing, Steelers keep winning, Cowboys keep winning. Bye, Jesse.
Is he not coming back? Is he not coming back?
I don't know that. I'm just saying that's.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. That is Made to Motivate podcast. Make sure you tune into the show every week. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube so you know when the new videos launch. And check out our pages individually if you can. We appreciate the support. At Jesse Young SI on Twitter. Chris, the Film Freak Kessinger. Check out the Film Freak Review page on Facebook. And I am Ryan Weiss. You can check out rockeverywhereinc.etsy.com to follow my art and apparel page. We appreciate the support. And, of course, at Made to Motivate podcast on all social media sites. Thanks again, and we'll check you next week.